he is a name that's been on the radar, and that just comes from the fact the guy's been doing this for 2 decades, and he's been close to the top of the sport for 2 decades. He's never been far out of the top 15, really, since I was in high school. So, which is fucked up that I was in high school like almost 2 decades ago. That didn't feel good to say right now, I'm realizing. But he's a perennial guy to watch in the sport. So, yeah, I had a feeling we might fight at some point. I wasn't gunning for him, but when the opportunity presented itself, I took it immediately just because, it's going to be fun.
I have to ask, what are we reading?
Dude, I just got I've been big on that DC. I was never a digital reader, and now I got an iPad, and I've turned into like an iPad kid. I'm like glued to my iPad because I got the DC Infinite. So shout out to them. That app is great. I just got done reading a bunch of old stuff. I'm reading Dennis O'Neill's Question, which I love. I really love. Really cool. Very 80s. Like, I'm digging it a lot. And I just read randomly that 12-issue Warren Ellis is like, it's called Global Frequency. Yeah. You ever read that? So cool. Each issue is just like I just like one of those things you pick up. You're like, I'll check it out. I'll read it a little bit. And then before you know it, it's been 12 issues. You're like, damn it, I want more of that.
That's a rat. It never did again.
I'm becoming I've always kind of been an Ellis guy, but I'm becoming a bigger Ellis guy. Like, he just doesn't really disappoint me very much. He really comes through a lot. Like, I'll read something from him randomly, and I just find myself enjoying it all the time.
He got a little weird in modern times, but
really,
it's great. Yeah.
I'm reading stuff from like 2002, so like
perfect time.
Yeah. Now, those are the kind of questions I want, people. Talk about comic books.
Andre over here. Obviously, another big stage for your international.
Is this a comic book question?
No.
I'm out of here. I'm just kidding, brother.
Awesome. Obviously, big stage for you once again at the T-Mobile. We all know there's a bit of a card shuffle. So, is there a part of you that's like, man, it would have been cool to perform in front of the maybe casual eyes that come with a Conor audience, or is it just still a big platform for you and go out there and make a statement?
Oh no, I mean it's cool to fight on a Conor card, man. I got a lot of respect for Conor. Like the way I grew up, the gym I grew up in, Alpha Male, Faber's always said a high tide raises all ships. So when you see someone do the things that Conor does, like, I know there's a lot of people who are like jealous or envious or talk shit. Like, I'm not that guy. I'm not a jealous guy. So if Conor's doing big things and I get to be on a card with him, that's huge for me, right? But I also think that the fights that got replaced are incredible fights. Like that Diego Lopez fight is going to be sick. The main event, Yuri and Poatan, is going to be sick. So it's not like the card fell apart. The card is arguably better, like we got 2 incredible fights. So for me, man, I'm just, in the most respectful way possible, I don't give a fuck about anyone but myself. Like, I'm here to put on the best show that I can put on, and it could be at the Apex, and it could be at T-Mobile, it could be in front of 10 people, it could be in front of 10,000 people. It doesn't matter. I'm here to put on a show. I'm here to enjoy the moment, and I'm here to make sure that people talk about my fight at the end of Saturday night.
Well, I know you just said you only care about yourself, but you also mentioned those great replacement fights. So I wanted to ask, how do you see those 2 main and co-main going?
I don't know, man. I'm just, by the time those guys fight, I'll be eating pizza and chicken tenders and hopefully some tacos. I will have had a performance of the night bonus, and I'll be watching those fights the same way you guys are. Actually, maybe even easier for me because you guys still have a job to do, but my job will be done. I'll be watching those fights like a fan. So I don't know how those fights go, but I'm a big fan of Diego Lopez as a fighter. There's another kid on the card, Peyton Talbot, big fan of him. There's some young, exciting guys on the card, and it's cool to see. Yeah, I'm excited to share the card with these guys.
Last room for me. Last time I spoke to you was in December 296. I asked you about some of your favorite things outside of the cage, and you gave me an interesting response.
Yeah.
Has that list changed since?
No, the list is still the same, bro. We can go back through it if you want, but Big Booty Latinas is still right at the top of the list. The best part about that, I've said a lot of things. I try to be articulate. I try to express myself in a way that resonates with people and be genuine and true to myself. And by far, the most viral thing I've ever said is talking about butts. So I don't know what the fuck the lesson is there, but thanks for the alley-oop, I guess. Thanks, dude.
I mean, how was it? I mean, seeing all these people that may not be as big combat fans, get into you and start following your page.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that unites us all, right? Every red-blooded adult male here can agree. Like, whether we like fighting or comic books or whatever, we like big butts, just big Latin butts. And in this time of turmoil, I think it's good to have something that unites us all.
Andre,
Yeah.
did you hit up Dan after that extra shot he gave you?
Yeah, I said, thanks a lot, you dickhead. You didn't need to hit me like that. So I will say this, my grandma, my aunties, everybody messaged me, why did he hit you a second time? And I had to explain to them. I actually the worst part is that Dan's such a nice fucking guy. After he hits you like that, you got to then defend him. Because, my family was like, why did he hit you a second time? And I had to explain to my family, like, that's his job, right? Like, what if he hits me and doesn't follow up and maybe I come back or the ref, and shout out to Jason Herzog, one of the best refs, maybe the best ref in the whole business, gave me every chance, That's what we do. Like, that's his job. Until the ref steps in, it's his job to make sure that he wins the fight. And yeah, it'd have been a lot cooler if he didn't hit me with that second shot, but that's his job, and I would have had to do the same thing to him, and that's the game we play. So, yeah, I talked a little shit to him, and I still do constantly. I actually was just training with him. I was training in the same room as him, and he was training with Cody No Love, and I was with another group, another partner, and he said, hey, like, anything I can do to help, let me know. And I said, you know what you can do to help? Stay the fuck away from me. You can help me from 10 feet away on the other side of the room. Don't keep your hands off me. That's how you can help me. But, no, Dan's a great dude, and I got nothing but love for him. And
what's the best movie you've seen so far this year?
The best movie I've seen so far this year? Oh, dude, don't put me on the spot. It's not a new movie, but I watched Brigsby Bear finally. I love that movie. And I know there's something I'm forgetting that I know as soon as we get off, I get done, it's going to come to me, and I can't think of the movies we watched recently, but throw some at me. I know there's one I'm missing we just watched. What's your favorite movie this year?
Are you watching Dune Part 2, probably?
Dune was incredible. Dune was great. There's one more that I can't remember that I know is like right there that I really enjoyed.
Are you watching television as well? Like Boys, the Boys, or
television so far has been Invincible. It's been incredible. They did Fallout, was so good. I love Fallout 3 might be my favorite game ever. Some people are gonna say Fallout New Vegas. Shut up. The loading screens are abysmal. Fallout 3 is better. But that Fallout show is the best video game adaptation I think ever. So yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
Andre, right here.
Yeah, brother.
So, Andre, do you prefer when comic book movies stay really tight to the source material, or do you like that creative license from the director?
I don't mind. I mean, good and bad with both. What I like is when the director and the people making the movie actually love the source material. Whether they stray or they stay really true to it, I think both can be done well. I think when you watch something like Invincible or you watch like those like the middle of the generation MCU movies where it's got like perfect, they really like found their stride. Like you look at Guardians of the Galaxy or Invincible or something like that, you can tell that the people who made it love the stuff they're making the movie about. And then you see some comic book adaptations that are just kind of phoned in. You see the director, like, he read like the two most popular comics about the subject and was like, all right, I got it, let's run it. And so I think whether you're making movies or you're writing or you're a journalist or you're a fighter, I think that you have to have a genuine love for what you're doing. And if you don't, it'll show. You can't fake the funk in anything. It'll shine through. People, when you fake it, people will see, and the results will speak for themselves. So I think, to me, the most important thing is when you're doing something creative, when you have a creative endeavor, it has to actually resonate with you first, and then the product will match that.
Do you think there's one comic book movie that translated from the page to the screen the best, like most faithfully?
Fuck, that's a whole nother interview. We're gonna get in so much trouble if you start me down this road. So I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but I will say I did really like what they did with the last Batman. Pattinson really they just took like the detective angle, which I think has been severely lacking. Also, like the fight scenes were done really well. It just felt Gotham-y, you know. It felt like Gotham. It felt like you were there. It was dark. It was serious, but it didn't take itself so serious that it got like corny. Like I just thought they did a really good job. So that's my example. I think they did a really good job of being unique and staying true to source material in that last Batman. Robert Pattinson has done like the best I've ever seen at not being typecast. Like he just did like 3 or 4 things where he was just like, no, I'm not the vampire from Twilight. I'm some crazy preacher in Devil All the Time. And then he did that movie Good Time, which is like anxiety inducing. And then he did this Batman, and it's like, shout out to that guy. I really want to make movies. If anybody's watching this, like, put me in the movies.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Jiri. The title shot that you were wanting came a little quicker, I guess, than expected. So what's the feeling like for you a few days out right now of this opportunity?
I feel great. Prepared. Short notice, so there was a short preparation, but very good quality, great quality. So I'm happy for that.
Ever any hesitation, right? Because this is the fight you wanted, and the opportunity is massive, but you know these opportunities don't come a whole lot, right? So was there any hesitation at all in taking this?
The message come, and I said yes. So for me, the chance is here. Why not? Let's go for that, I believe.
When you review the first fight, obviously you did have moments of success in there. How satisfied overall are you with your performance? Obviously the result wasn't what you wanted, but how successful do you think you were in implementing what you wanted to do in that fight?
From which fight?
From the original fight with Alex.
From first fight with Alex.
Right.
I have to say, no matter the result, but I saw that fight many times, and I will not change not change anything. And I wanna do the same right now, this Saturday. I wanna do the same, but much better. Be more precise in the details. Watch the calf kicks. Yeah, just a little bit. And just win.
What do you think makes him dangerous as a fighter? Is it just some God-given power that he has? Is it technique? Is it strategy? What do you think makes him so successful?
To be honest, his focus. That's all. That's it. The focus is everything. The focus is everything, and he know how to use that in a fight. And I know it too. So right now, for this Saturday, I realize what is necessary for a win in this fight, and I'm going to show that.
Very nice. Last thing for me, what would this victory mean for you? The opportunity to get this win, the title, the revenge, what would it all mean for you?
The opportunity to fight him again, to show that my style is, or I am better fighter.
Jiri, over here. Taking this fight on short notice, was this best case scenario because now you don't have to do months and weeks of media and interviews, and you can kind of just focus on making weight and showing up on Saturday?
Like I said, I just jumped to the final stage of preparation, and sometimes it's for me the best what I can do, because if you believe in yourself and you are the yes man, so take the chance, go there and show what's your best. That's all.
And on the MMA Hour, you said that you kind of alluded to Alex using, spiritual advisors and shamans and stuff from his village. I think people were a little confused by what you meant. Can you explain what you meant by what you believe Alex uses these shamans and spirits and stuff?
One more time.
On the MMA Hour with Ariel, you were talking about Alex using shamans and spiritual. Can you kind of explain that?
Now I understand. Thank you. Yes, everybody knows that, and he's doing these rituals before the fight. Everybody can feel that, what's around him and what's going on. So, and I think Alex can't fight without that. So, and that's something what he's using normally in a fighting. And let's see. This is right now. This is my challenge to him. If we can fight in a clear way in this case, to be not without some another things, some whatever, but let the higher power be there in the cage to see who's the best in the world in the performance, in the pure performance. That's all.
Is that something you'll ask him to do, to face you without doing all of that to see who's the best?
Yeah.
Jiri, over here. How much different is this camp, not only with the short notice, but I know in your first fight with Alex, you didn't have the best camp. How different have things been this time around?
How
Different.
How different?
Has
Yeah.
this camp been? Yeah.
Lots of different. Normally I have like 2 months long camp, or almost two months, and this time was 1 week. so I put everything into 1 week, into 1.5 week, and I'm prepared.
Not looking past Saturday night, but do you believe Magomed Ankalaev will fight the winner of this fight?
Who fought before?
He fought Johnny Walker.
He fought Johnny. Okay. He fought Johnny Walker, and I don't know. So let the UFC will say that who's the best for him right now. But he, how many wins or how many fights he won right now? Like his streak.
He's been unbeaten in his last few fights. The first Johnny Walker fight was a no contest.
I don't care about that. So let's UFC decide about that.
And just last question for me. We saw you at the Czechia hockey game. Did you watch the Stanley Cup Finals this week?
If I watch the football,
Ice hockey.
ice
Stanley
hockey,
Cup.
okay, because right now is football. Yeah, and I'm very glad we won. I was there on the final competition, final fight, and it was a great feeling. Yeah, it was a great feeling to see our Czech team to win the world championship. That was amazing.
Jiri, over here to your left.
Yep.
How do you describe a week where you went from possibly looking for your next fight to being ready to fight for the title? What that week looked like?
Which week? This week?
Last week when you were
Last week of
preparing.
preparation. A good hell. Yeah, good hell, because you need to maximize your body abilities, your strength, dynamic, endurance, stamina, and focus for technique, the eyes in a sparring, and it's a lot of things for one week. But when you have good time management, to know how to schedule your training, and it's like masterpiece. And I'm very glad that me and my team, we scheduled that really, really good. And right now, it's time for the details, to enjoy the training, recover, and go to show the best.
You mentioned it. Normally you have 2 months to prepare for a fight, so there's a lot of repetitions, a lot of rounds for you to start to build that confidence and feel like you're at your best. How do you do that in 7 days?
Like I said, with all the humble, you have to just believe. You have to believe, or better, you have to know that you are the one, you are ready to show your best right here, right now, because these chances will not come if you are not ready, yeah? Because every time when the life asks you, the life expects that you are ready. It's just about your courage and believe.
Jiri right here, in the middle. Jiri, do you think that the short notice actually makes both of you more dangerous because there is less time to think about the strategy and you're maybe more going out there to do what comes natural?
Yeah, that's right. That's right, and especially when we fought, yeah, in like few months back. So we know each other from fight, but how I see that, like in a fighting, I'm another person. He little changed himself, his style, his vibe. I see him, and I'm really looking forward for this Saturday.
One of the things that the fans love about you and they're very fascinated is, some things you practice, go to the cave in the dark by yourself and all of these intense things. Was this always something that you pursued, or did something change in your life where you felt you wanted to test yourself that way? You wanted to do something of a different path to pursue those things to better yourself spiritually?
Yeah, if you understand that you have the main thing for your work is your body, your mind, your spirit. You have to sharp it, sharp the mind, sharp the body, sharp the spirit. And when you want to do that and be the best, okay, how like the most sharper you can be in all of these aspects. Just show me that. If you are ready for that, the way will open.
Thank you.
Gary, just a quick one from me to your right here. You mentioned the football there just a second ago. I don't think you got to see because you're on stage with us right now, but you guys just scored an equalizer. So I guess what do you make of that?
Football?
Yeah, Suchek just scored for you guys.
Man, I don't watch that right now. But right now is my mind just focused for fight, and I wish them all the best. But I don't watch that right now.
In terms of the country representation, how big would it be for not only you to get a win, but also Czech Republic to go far in the Euros? Because I know obviously the country is supporting you and their team at the Euros.
So what's the question?
How big would it be for you and Czech Republic if you go out there and get a big win on Saturday and they go far in the Euros?
I don't know how them, but for me is it's a big thing. Yeah. So I believe for victory.
Thank you.
Jirko, tady. 2 weeks ago in Prague, Czech Republic, soccer stadium, Octagon 58, sold out crowd, 28,000 people. First time they hear you might fight. How special was it for you to hear all those people and you know that whole country is staying behind you?
How special was
That moment, you hear those 28,000 people in the arena.
yeah, it was a great night. It was a great night, and it was a pleasure to meet a lot of like MMA fans in Czech Republic, and I'm glad that the MMA community is still growing.
Is this something that helped you with the decision? That you know that all the country is behind you?
No. That time when I was there, that was the time when I already answered for this chance to fight here.
Go ahead, that's it.
You're right here. If you win this fight, a lot of Alex's fans are probably going to make excuses for him, saying he was in Australia, about the toes. Do you feel like if you win this and get that belt back, you need to do a trilogy fight right after with with a full camp, just to silence any questions?
Everybody wants the trilogy, yeah. For me, it doesn't matter. For me, right now I'm not thinking about the trilogy, about who will be the next opponent, whatever. Right now, I'm here for the belt. Not the belt. I'm here for a win this fight, to show my best. I'm faster, I'm endurable, to master all the aspects in the fight. That's all. That's all.
Do you think, and probably a better question for afterward, but do you think this title win will be more satisfying to you than the win over Glover?
Every win is for me the most important. Yeah, win here and now. Don't judge this was more important and this win was more important. No, to win the battle is what is here and now before you is the most important. That's all.
Brian, after all the layoffs and the struggles and all those things that you've had over the years, how exciting is an opportunity like this to be able to step up on short notice, be able to turn around so quickly and get back to work?
It feels good, man. It's something that I'm not used to. It's been fight, surgery, recover, get healthy, get cleared, take a fight, go back in there, and it's just been a cycle over years. So this is, it's like new again.
That last performance, obviously incredible win there. How big was that one for you as well, to not just get the result, but have the performance as well and know that I'm still that guy?
It was good. It was something that I feel like in my career and in my personal life, there was a lot of redemption that I had to get done. And I feel like it was just a perfect outcome.
Absolutely. Now you get this opportunity. You faced, obviously, the absolute best in the world. Diego's kind of new to the organization, but looks dangerous. How do you think his skills stack up to the talent that you have faced?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there's just the facts. I faced who's who in their prime, at the best of their peak. It's good to know that I have that, but it's also, it's also good to respect Diego for who he is and what he brings to the table, and for the fact that he's willing to come up and challenge me or step in on 2 weeks' notice and fight. I remember when I was there, and I know that because of the mentality and the heart that it takes. So I'm not looking at it as anything less than the people I faced. If anything, every single fight that I have is the most important fight of my career.
Nice. What do you feel like the stakes of this fight are, right? Because it doesn't seem like it's necessarily clear. The title picture is kind of clogged up, but you're right there at the top. So how do you view the stakes of this matchup?
For me, not much, like crazy stakes, right? That's why people were like, why'd you take this fight? For him, obviously, it puts him in perfect title contention. But, yeah, that's kind of the stakes there.
Nice. And last thing for me, when this fight was announced, I think everybody as a fan just kind of stepped back and like, oh my God, that's going to be a hell of a fight. Do you feel like this is going to be a hell of a fight, or do you feel like this is one where you can go out and dominate and maybe show that, hey, you're not ready for this level yet?
This is one that's going to test where I'm at, This is going to be like, okay, you got these hungry lions coming up and wanting to take your spot. They're almost there. You've been in here for a while. Are you able to hold down your situation and your position? And granted, like I said, it's on 2 weeks' notice. So there's a lot of factors in there, but still, the fact that I'm still down to take these fights on short notice, that's a dope part.
Brian, over here. I asked Diego this question when he was in here about if straight-up jiu-jitsu match, how do you think you'd fare against him?
I think I could be able to submit him in a straight jiu-jitsu match.
No surprise, he felt the opposite. He said he's been doing this since 5. He didn't know if you do any competitive jiu-jitsu or anything like that. So when you do watch his grappling, is it different than what you've seen in MMA? Because I think in a previous interview you said it's a lot more attacking grappling rather than just being defensive.
What, I say it again?
In his mind, he obviously thinks he would get the better of you because he didn't know how much competitive jiu-jitsu you had been doing, and he had been doing it since he was 5.
Oh, okay.
In terms of his actual grappling, is it any different than what you've seen from any of your MMA opponents or anything in the UFC?
Yeah, he's someone who's always attacking. When you have him on the ground, from what I've seen, is he gets straight to work. He doesn't play around there. He moves a lot. He's very active. He's always submission hunting, and like a competitor would.
Ryan, you told me the other day that you're planning to donate right here 100,000 of your purse, and I know you put some comments on like the Instagram posts and stuff. Is there anything you want to clarify about your motivation for doing that? I know you posted a little video as well.
Yeah, I feel like the internet's always gonna have something to say, right? So that is what it is. A lot of people are saying, "Oh no, man, you fell for the biggest scam and this and that, whatever it is," and that couldn't be further from the case, man. My marbles are all still up here. I'm still fully, got no CTE, no nothing, relax. And if you experienced and you saw what I saw, you saw all these men, you saw the ability to change and help them, And me being in a situation where I can, that's what I'm going to do. You know, this has nothing to do with getting scammed. It has nothing to do with this. This is my heart, man. I got a big heart. You've seen it in all my fights. You've seen it with war, but you guys haven't seen it with humanity. You know, that's what this is. This is helping a lot of men who are lost in this world help find peace, joy, tranquility, and purpose. That's what this is about.
And you told me as well that this fight kind of interrupted the plan to move up to lightweight. I don't know how much like you were bulking up or whatever, but now we're about 48 hours from weigh-ins. How are you feeling going into that, you know, having reverted back to featherweight?
Like I did like back in the day. You know, back in the day I would just be big for no reason. Just ate a lot. And then now I'm big because I'm working out. So both have their thing. I just have to shrink down again to 45. This time in now 2 days. So it's going to be not so pleasant, but it's going to be done.
Do you think it's the last time you'll have to make this weight?
No, I'm going to have to make featherweight again. I just hope not on 2 weeks' notice.
Brian, right here. I wanted to follow up on that faith thing for you, having that new sense of purpose and being able to be saved again. Why do you feel like now was the time to really open up on that?
Because if you look at a lot of things now, like if you really open up your eyes, a lot of things are happening. A lot of bad things are being too normal now. You know, it used to be not so normal, not so common. And now everything is like bad is the new good. And I'm here to pop that bubble and say that's not true.
I'm curious from your perspective, being in the spotlight for so long, everyone always talks about that pressure and understanding that journey of what you've just gone through, going into faith and being saved again. Do you feel like there's an added pressure now because you have this connotation behind you?
What do you mean added pressure?
In terms of being a Christian and the stereotypes that come with that, an added pressure of, okay, now I have this image even more to live up to.
Oh, no, not at all, man. At the end of the day, something I want to leave behind is to be tough and to be good. Right? That's it. I want to be tough and I want to be good, and that's something I can leave behind. A good leader, and I inspire to become one day in, day in and day out. I inspire to become a better leader. I have 2 boys back at home that are looking up to me, and it is my responsibility to step it up. And I have to fight myself every single day to better myself. And that's what I'm going to do.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, Brian, right here. Brian, last time you fought at the T-Mobile, you had probably one of the better walkouts of several years with the Purge walkout. I haven't heard you talk much about it. Can you just talk about that concept and the way it came together on the broadcast? Because a lot of fans really loved it.
Oh, man. That walkout was... You want the story behind the walkout?
Absolutely, all of it.
Brian, BC. So at that time, I was living in an apartment. I had left the house and everything when I separated. And there's this neighbor upstairs who just, every hour, it was like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. I'm like, dude, you guys go to sleep? Like, what's going on? Like, come on now. Like, I got a fight I got to train for. I got a world title. Like, what are you guys doing? And then something, I was watching, I forgot what, I think it was like some reels or something, and the Purge song came on, right? And I started fantasizing, not the best thing, but like if the Purge was real, like the first thing I'm doing is I'm going upstairs. Like, cause I'm not a snitch, right? And I'm not a complainer, but dude, I even hit up the landlord. I was like, yo, like, can you tell him to be quiet, please? Like, I know they snitched on me before because I've been playing with my kids a little too rough. Like, I was running around one time and I was like, I'm gonna kill you. And then the kids were screaming, they're about to call the cops because they thought I was gonna kill my kids. Oh. Yeah, to me, it wasn't that crazy, right? That's how we play around. But I never said nothing. And finally I said, hey man, like, you know, these guys or whoever's up there, I don't want to be rude, but come on now. like, it feels like they're dragging something across the floor all night. Like, if you need help, let me know. And after I complained, I swear it kept happening, even like they doubled down on it. So that was just in my head, like, dude, like, if the purge was real, I'd go upstairs and just handle business. And I don't know why, I would stay up all night, and I'm like, dude, the purge, that song, I found a remix to it, and I was like, if I had the mask, what mask would I wear? Like, if I was to commit these crimes, you know, like, how would I approach their house? And that was the concept. Just be all hoodied up with a lighted mask. And then I was like, dude, what if I walked out to this? Wouldn't that be dope? There's no logos on this. The mask costs $5. Cheapest walkout ever. And the soundtrack was dope. And I'd mess with all of you guys in the crowd, you know, like imagine they shut everything down. Or at least the song I originally had was a little more scary. It felt like a little more real. So I was hoping to like make everyone in the crowd kind of get scared a bit. Like, yeah, hold up, like what's going on? Did they really allow it? Or what's going on? Why is the UFC doing this? But the UFC wouldn't go along with my plan. They had to make it to where it's like, hey, like, it has to be known it's a walkout. Can't have people panicking. Said, I got you. And that was the theme and the idea behind that. And I called my managers and everyone and told them my idea, and they're like, okay, let's go for it. And then now it's in one of the best walkouts ever when it's being a conversation of topic. So it worked out.
Did the coaches all know that story, like ahead of time, or did
Yeah,
you just tell them, hey, we're doing the purge?
No, yeah, I told them I want to kill my neighbors at that time. At that time, yeah.
Thank you, man.
Brian, up front. Over here.
Yeah.
Hey, brother. Is there going to be any second guessing when Bruce Buffer's calling your name this fight and you're going
I'm not jumping up, dude.
There'll be
I'm not jumping up. I'm taping my ankles just because. And I'm going to make sure I don't twist my ankles because that one was scary.
And then if I can maybe get one more story out of you, there was you were on a podcast back in the day and you were talking with Brendan Schaub about this, but I feel like you didn't get enough opportunity to speak about it. Was there almost a fight between Shia LaBeouf and you and Brendan?
No comment. And no, there was no fight between us. We were on set. We were filming the movie. And just things got a little, not out of hand, but just, it was what it was. But yeah, Shia ended up on the table. Someone slammed him on the table, and he hit one of the actors in the face with a prop gun, and it was a little scuffle, but it was nothing crazy, nothing big.
And then is the BMF title out there? Is that something you might have your eyes on one day?
I don't know. That's something that I haven't even paid no thought to. I think it was more like a higher weight class thing, but then they moved to 55, and then Max did what he did with Gaethje, and it was just wow. It was BMF. They can't take that from him. That's a scary dude, especially in the end, the way he did things. I'm sure all of you guys can agree to that. And right now I feel like I'm in my own lane, and I'm gonna see where this career takes me.
You returned last time out and pulled off a great finish against Yair. You spoke about your faith and everything like that. Do you approach these fights a little bit differently in terms of your mindset now?
Absolutely. Before I would fight for my own selfish reason, personal greed. I had my own agenda, my own plans. One day I achieved all of it. I didn't like it. I got everything I wanted, I didn't like it. So now I'm doing things different.
And can you talk a little bit about perhaps your preparation? Obviously, it's short notice, but where are you at mentally going into this fight on short notice?
I'm as good as it's gonna get for a 2-week notice fight. There's everything moving too fast. It feels like just a week ago I was in an airplane, and now I'm right here talking to you. So it's way too much to try to figure out and understand. I'm not going to. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna go on autopilot and cut the weight and fight. That's it. After the fight is kind of when I'm gonna let things sink in, and that's kind of when I'm gonna wanna just be alone for a bit and just let everything just process, I guess.
And how do you see the fight playing out with Diego on Saturday?
I feel like it's gonna be a great fight. He's a young, hungry lion. I've been here already for a bit at the top 3, so it's gonna be who, like when you watch National Geographic and you see the lion, the young lion, that's the older lion. That's the fight we're gonna get.
Thank you.
Yeah, Brian, I know a lot of people are excited to see Conor McGregor, but I think it could be argued that this card now is maybe better from a talent standpoint, a competitive standpoint. Do you feel that, and do you feel any pressure maybe to live up to what people expected from this card?
No, I'm not trying to live up to anyone's expectations. I did that for a big amount for almost my whole life. Like I was talking to her right now. This is something that I'm doing right now without thought, and then when it's said and done, then I can kind of kick back a little bit and watch everything, and then just let everything sink in.
And then how did the situation with the neighbors ever get resolved? Did it just stop?
I bought a house.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Well, Julian, you've obviously been doing this for quite a while in the UFC now. So do opportunities like this still feel special, though? Pay-per-view, International Fight Week in Vegas, is it still something that's special for you?
I feel like this seems like the most special opportunity I've had yet, to have an opponent like Michelle Waterson, a huge vet in the game, a huge name in the game, and to be in the T-Mobile. I feel like it's all just like a dream come true still to me.
Nice. Sounds like you have a lot of respect for Michelle and who she is as an athlete. What do you think of her as an opponent?
Yeah, like I said, she's a vet in the game. You got to respect her. You got to know that she's coming in there with her best fight. She's not going to be making any dumb decisions. She's going to be bringing, the best her. So it's like I got to be ready for that Saturday night.
Simplicity, I think you say, striker versus grappler. Do you see it as that simple of a breakdown, or do you feel like you were both too well-rounded to consider it that type of a matchup?
I think you can kind of see it like that a little bit, but for me especially, I don't care if the fight goes to the ground. I'm just looking to do damage. I'm looking to get in there and force her into situations that she's not comfortable in, force her into making bad decisions, and it doesn't matter if it goes to the ground to me. If we're on the feet on the ground, I'm going to be content as long as I'm doing damage.
Very nice. You get a win here, like you said, on this big platform, this big opportunity. What's important for you? Is it looking up the rankings and like picking specific names to work your way up, or is it just stay busy? Because I feel like you just want to fight as often as possible.
For me, names have never been important. It's the numbers next to the names. If I want to be a champ, I have to beat every single one to get there. So it doesn't matter who you put in front of me, I'm taking that fight.
Last thing for me, what type of fight do you think we see here? As you said, a veteran. Do you think this is going to be a back-and-forth battle, lengthy, or is this one that you can go out and maybe not look for a submission but get one? What kind of fight do you see?
I do think I will be able to find my submission. I do think I'll be able to get my finish. I don't see it necessarily being a back-and-forth battle, but I don't see Michelle going away easy either.
Gillian, right here. Going off of that, you said you don't expect it to be back and forth, but not putting her away. Does that mean you kind of view this as kind of a dominant performance from you, is what you expect?
I think I'm expecting a dominant performance. Just the way that my camps went, I've never felt so ready for a moment. I keep on saying to myself that this is my time, because I do just truly believe that at this moment. I believe that I am more than ready to walk in the cage right now, more than confident in myself and my ability, and it's my time.
Was it something different in this camp as opposed to previous ones that led to you kind of having this feeling for this fight specific?
I think it's honestly just my last few camps. Excluding the Tabitha Ritchie camp, my last 3 wins, the camps have just went so perfect for me. I've really found the formula that I need with Goat Shed and Dean Thomas, and just the schedule that I need and everything that I need to be ready and get my hand raised.
How's it training at Goat Shed? Because we've seen the videos on social media. It seems a little different.
It's definitely a little bit of chaos, but that's what a fight is. You know, you got to be ready for a fight, and you got to be ready for all that chaos in the fight. You got to be ready for the crowd screaming and everything like that. So that's what Goat Shed helps me provide. They got that little bit of chaos.
Last one for me. Can I get your thoughts on the main event between Alex and Jiri?
I'm actually super excited for this main event. Jiri, I feel like, is someone who I've counted out on every fight that he's ever had, and he wins. So I'm never counting out Jiri Prochazka, so I'm rooting for him.
Gillian, back here. You know, you've had a couple fights now at strawweight. You know, it seems like it's gone very well for you in terms of the cut and everything. Does part of you wish you would have dropped down a little bit sooner, like earlier in your UFC career?
I guess not necessarily. It's all a learning process for me. I got signed super young in my career, age-wise and experience-wise. I was only 3 and 2, so I feel like it's just been a learning process for me. I don't regret it.
And you fought, I mentioned there, at flyweight. Michelle's considered one of the smaller fighters in the division. How much of an advantage do you think that'll be, just because you're obviously very strong? You were competing with flyweights. You know, Michelle's never fought at flyweight. I don't think she would ever fight in that weight class.
Well, I guess me fighting at flyweight shows this, that I never take size into consideration. I don't think if somebody's smaller, that necessarily means that they're weaker. They could be better at making decisions, and just that's why they're in the game. That's why she's made it this far. So I feel that with myself a lot, honestly, is I don't feel like I'm necessarily one of the stronger, more athletic girls, but I'm better at making decisions than most of these girls, so it makes me feel strong to them.
And just last one for me. What do you think the implications are for a victory, especially a finish? You mentioned Michelle's been in the game for a while. Pretty notable name. This is a pretty big card. Like, I imagine, this has got to propel you up the rankings.
Oh, that's all I'm hoping for, is just keep on going up the rankings, you know? It's like, I feel like 2 or 3 more and I should be standing across from the champion.
Gillian right here, straight down the middle. Gillian, I wanted to touch back on working at Team Goat Shed. We know, for example, President Awesome as a promoter and as a personality. I want to know, what is he like as a teammate and as a coach? Because obviously several fighters in UFC trust him and the work that he puts in as a teammate.
Oh yeah, President Awesome, he's all over the place. Karate, combat, UFC, wherever it is, he's all over. And he's an amazing person, amazing coach, and I'm blessed to have him at the gym every day.
And then you work with Dean Thomas for a long time. We get to hear him a lot on the broadcast. Can you speak a little bit, how close is he to that guy that we hear on TV? Like, is that the kind of advice that he gives to you when he's coaching you at the gym, or do you get a different version?
Dean is probably one of the smartest people I know, honestly. Like, just the way he approaches the game. I've went around the country, been to every big gym, I've talked to every coach, and there's nobody who actually treats the sport as MMA like Dean does. So many are approaching it as like boxing and jiu-jitsu and wrestling. He's the first MMA coach that I know, and I'm so lucky. I really feel like it was just like fate that I walked into his gym when I was 16 years old. I was so blessed that we ended up working together.
What do you think it is? Obviously, you have respect for the work he puts in, and likewise. But what do you think it is about you guys as personalities? Because he's a very respected mind in the game, but you guys have just kind of had that, that duo working for a long time. What do you think it is about you two that just works for so long?
I think we're both just workhorses, honestly. We're both just down. Like, he would text me at any time of day, be like, yo, we're training. I'd be like, okay, I'll be there, So I feel like it developed a respect between us, and he just knows that I want it that bad. So it's like, I feel like, I think it is developed off the fact that we're both just workhorses.
Thank you.
Gillian, back here. We know that Michelle has a unique striking style blending in her karate. Do you feel like there's a comparison that you've already had to deal with the same, or is this going to be a new experience to deal with?
It'll be a new experience in the cage. This camp, I've had one of my friends, Anna Crutchfield. She's a pro fighter, come out, and she, I feel like, is honestly, I want to say, a better look than Michelle. She's throwing kicks at me, karate style, giving me everything I need for this fight.
And what do you think the biggest challenge or obstacle is going to be with dealing with her style?
I think the biggest challenge is going to be catching her, honestly. I feel like she's going to play on the outside and throw kicks a lot, and just closing that distance and staying in her face is going to be the hardest part, most challenging part.
Thank you.
Cub, obviously a massive event here, right? International Fight Week, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. I mean, do moments like this like still bring something extra special inside, or is this just the job and this is just, you know, another day at work for you?
It goes back and forth. You know, sometimes it's like, oh, just another day. But I've been trying to do a lot of like reflecting and enjoying the moment. And so I've been enjoying this camp, been enjoying this week. And I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to perform in front of the fans. I feel very honored and blessed to be in this position.
Very nice. Andre Fili as an opponent, when it was announced, I think a lot of people said this is going to be a great fight. I guess what were your initial thoughts when that was named given to you?
Well, it was a good one for me because all my friends and family and coaches are like, can you stop fighting 20-year-old guys that are so hungry and trying to make a name off you? And I'm like, I don't pick who I'm fighting. They just say, hey, you want to fight this guy? I'm like, sure. And when I got Andre, he's been around for a long time. Got a lot of respect for him. I like him. And so, yeah, I was like, at least now everyone's happy with this matchup. So I think it's a real treat for the fans. And, yeah, it's exciting.
Did you guys cross paths much in California or in fight scenes? I mean, you guys have both been around for a long time. Have y'all come across each other much?
We've hung out at a couple of UFC events, quite a while ago, and I saw him right after he won 2 fights ago, and said congrats, and he talked to my kids for a little bit, so that was really cool. But yeah, like I said, we've always stayed cool, but never trained together, and like I said, a lot of respect, and I'm sure we both want to go out there and put on a good show.
I would say stylistically, it looks like on paper it should be a battle and a good show. Is that the type of fight that you are expecting here?
Well, yeah, especially at this point in my career, I'm trying to have fun, I know that when I'm out there having fun, I have my best performances, and that's really what I'm trying to do is have great performances. I think I've solidified myself, and as a fan favorite, and people love to watch fight, and at this point, it's just icing on the cake.
You talked about kind of savoring the moment, reflecting, enjoying it. That's usually things that people try to do when they realize they're getting near the end. Is that part of that, is realizing I can't do this forever, so let me soak in while I'm still doing it?
Yeah, and I've been on that wavelength for a little while. I'm in the mindset of this is the last chapter, not the last fight. And so I don't know, what's next. I take every fight, like it's my last. So, a lot of me thought that my last fight was my last because I was dealing with some back issues for years and years. I had back surgery, and I feel so much better and got new life into me. Dr. Galakny, shout out to him. Anybody that's going to get back surgery, go see this guy. He's a genius. I was back to training within six weeks, and everyone's like, man, you look better than you have in the last 4 or 5 years. So it definitely breathed some new life into my career, and, take it one fight at a time.
You think maybe that extended, though, when you thought the expiration was?
Oh, for sure. Definitely gave me more opportunities mentally. And, you kind of look for little things here and there. And for me, having my fight team and the team I manage and coach, Bloodline, if you guys know, they mean a lot to me. And they've been able to watch me train for this fight and get ready. And it's been really cool to kind of flip the script and have the guys I've been coaching turn around and help coach me and get me ready and me lead by example.
That's awesome, man. Last thing for me, see no way that this fight disappoints. Looks like it's going to be amazing. What do you want? You said, I don't know what's next, but are there things you want to do? Like, hey, man, I just want to make sure every fight I have is like an exciting fight, a fight of the night type thing. Are there names, places? Like, what do you still have to check off the list at your point in your career?
Well, fighting in front of a crowd was one of them. When I was, knowing that, I'm getting up there in age, all that. Fighting in front of a crowd was one of them. Me and my wife will go to the big events, New York, T-Mobile, Miami. And then I was like, man, I do miss that because I've been fighting at the Apex for a while, which is cool. But I knew that I needed to do that. I think fighting in my hometown in Palm Springs, being able to bring the UFC back there would be exciting. but yeah, at this point in my career, I just need to be excited. I mean, I think even a fight in Korea would be pretty cool. I think the way that since fighting Duo Choi, the way my fan base has grown there, I'm really appreciative. So yeah, just anything that would excite me.
Come over here. Kind of going off of that, did you ever talk to the UFC, like, why do you keep putting me in the Apex, considering, you are a name and you have been doing this for so long? Like, why wouldn't fans want to watch me fight?
No, I just would always accept my place, on the card. I mean, one time, I think when I fought Kawajiri, I was in the middle of the card, and then a fight fell off, and they bumped me to co-main event. And then an hour later, they bumped me to the Fight Pass prelims. And I went on the social media and was like, hey, download Fight Pass, sign up. And they were super thankful for that. So I never try to act like I'm bigger than who I am. Like, I just come to fight. I'm not trying to cause a stink. Wherever you place me, I'm cool with that. If you put me on the middle card, I'm cool with that. If you put me at the Apex, whatever. I'm just going to fight. That's my job.
Kind of going off of that a bit, your name made a little bit of headlines not too long ago when you had that kind of Twitter issue with Joaquin Buckley, but it kind of led to a lot of fellow fighters coming out and kind of sharing their favorite memories of you, defending you against him. So I guess, what did you make of, we don't have to get into what he said, but like just the amount of your fellow fighters that came out and, were kind of praising you on social media?
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. Because, like I said, my whole career has always been like, oh, he never won a title, so how good was he? It's like, man, it's like the amount of Hall of Famers and champions I fought. I've never backed down from a fight, and so I think it's silly. And the reason the whole thing started is I was defending some of the OGs in the game, and it makes me sound even older, but for me, I feel like it's my place to make sure the young fighters respect the OGs of the game, learn the history, like you need to know where this sport even started, like understand the history, who's who, show respect of the people who did it before you. And I just think that as a martial artist, you should do that. And to say something silly about somebody, I think is out of place.
Do you guys have a little bit of a camaraderie between all the WEC guys? Because there's not too many of you left in the UFC these days.
Yeah, for sure. The thing that was cool about the WEC is, we didn't get the respect. People always were like, oh, you guys are cool, but you're not the UFC. And we're like, we are. we're just the little guys, so we always had this chip on our shoulder. And when we got absorbed into the UFC and we, the 55ers are the ones that really got to show, Cowboy and Anthony Pettis and all the guys that went over and did really well. It was like, yeah, see, we were that good all along. So we always had a chip on our shoulder. And for me, I feel like that was a blessing. It was like we got a easier version of all the hype and everything, and then we came over like ready to prove it. And it was no difference backstage other than just more media attention and stuff like that. So we definitely had that chip, and we definitely feel like a brotherhood.
Is it a trip at all? Because I think there was a generation of fighters that watched the WEC, and especially the smaller guys that say like, oh, I saw Faber and Mike Brown and Aldo and all these guys in the WEC. And now there's this generation that they didn't start watching MMA till Jose Aldo fought Conor McGregor, and they view him as the guy that lost to Conor, not Jose Aldo, the WEC champion.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's a little sad that you don't know the history and look at what a great champion Jose Aldo was. I got so much respect for him, and he always spoke out for fighters, and tried to level up everybody, which I appreciate. So yeah, I try to get everybody to know the history of the sport and really understand who paved the way for you, and to me that's important.
And last one for me, can I just get your thoughts on the main event between Alex and Jiri?
I love the fight. I really wish it wasn't short notice, as a fight fan, but I love that fight. I think it's two warriors that have very different approaches to the sport, and that's what the sport is all about. It's about, you know, this style versus that style, and mentality and toughness, and who can make adjustments on the fly, and that's the beauty of it. And so I'm looking forward to the fight.
Hey, Cub, right here. Cub, have seen you a lot on the LFA broadcast and doing that work on the microphone. Can you just talk about how that's impacted your life and your career as maybe you think about right now and when you hang them up?
Yeah, so I'm really enjoying that, because I think one false narrative about me has always been that I'm just kind of scrappy and tough, and that I'm not smart. And I feel like I'm actually very technical, and I kind of make it look wild when I'm being very strategic in there. So I feel like when people hear me talk about fighting, they see that I'm more than just like a scrappy kid, that I've actually put tons and tons and tons of thought into this. And so that's been quite an enjoyment for me. And just kind of, I see it as, you know, the next step when I can't fight anymore. It's going to help me fill that void. The same with coaching and managing fighters. I have all this knowledge of succeeding and failing at the highest level that really is not going to translate into a lot of other things. And the ability to give that back to the next generation of fighters is really, it fills a void for me that I know will be there when I can't fight myself anymore.
And then this may sound like a bit of a redundant question, but I mean it very seriously. Can you just speak to the impact of what the UFC as a brand has meant to you? Because besides being a fighter, we see you at so many big events. You could be spotted in the crowd at almost every pay-per-view, and you know there's a lot of them. Obviously, as a teammate and managing fighters, I mean, what does it mean? What impact has it had on your life to just be a part of this whole thing?
It literally saved my life. I was not doing well in life. I was lost, and this sport gave me structure, and it humbled me, and it gave me direction, and it's taught me many life lessons. And yeah, I wouldn't be who I am today without this sport. And to me, it's the purest sport. You know, there's no team. It's just one-on-one. You got nobody to blame but yourself. And it's raw and real, and it's beautiful, and it's violent, and it's all those things into one. So when I saw the sport and realized that it wasn't as big as it should be in the very beginning, before it was on TV, before The Ultimate Fighter, I knew that it was going to be big if it got the chance, if people got the chance to look at it and understand it a little better. And so I'm very proud to be a part of it, and I'm most proud that all the guys that I looked up to when I first got in the sport, like the Big Nogueiras, the Vitor Belfords, Josh Barnett, Rampage, all these guys that I was watching when I first got into it, have all kind of given me that, hey, you're one of us moment that's made me feel like I've made it.
Thank you.
About, I don't know if we're on, there we go. I mentioned quite a bit about knowing the history of the sport and respecting that. How much do you pay attention to the generation kind of behind you and seeing, have you kept your eye on any one fighter or couple in particular that you see that could have longevity and actually kind of speak to the idea that you have who understand the history of the sport in that way?
Past fighters?
No, the ones in the generation after you.
Oh, that are still in it?
You're still in it.
I am still in it. Yeah, I don't know of too many because I don't get to have those kind of conversations with everybody. But I hope people are paying attention and learning, because I think it's important. But at the same time, it's crazy how fast this sport is evolving, and you have to stay current. And you have to learn from the past, but you also have to be very present in the present, because it's evolving so fast. I feel like I've been telling people this for a while. I learned more from my students and the guys under me than any coach right now, because the game's evolving that fast. If you're not watching the UFC every week and in the gym, you're going to be a dinosaur in 3 years. So I feel very fortunate that I stay around the 20-year-olds and the up-and-coming guys, and that's what's kept me youthful and kept me in the sport.
Just kind of staying with that, recently Fight Inc. debuted on Roku, and it went through some of the history of UFC and actually really paid attention to matchmaking. How much do you as a fighter pay attention to the growth of the organization, and kind of like how does that impact you that the business has changed so much since you became a fighter?
Well, it affects us a lot. I mean, obviously, I'm fighting, I'm coaching and managing, so I have to pay attention to it a lot. I love that it's becoming more stable across the board and that it keeps growing. I think that's going to be better and better. So the way I see it is that's more fighters that are going to be able to, retire comfortably when they're done fighting. One thing I've seen a lot of is a lot of fighters that just made a lot of poor choices and they get cut from the UFC and maybe their morale is a little low, and that's something that I really try to teach my guys is like how to prepare for the future, how to build off your success.
Cub, kind of curious about how the emotions are this week, considering 2 years ago you went into the Hall of Fame, and it'll be your first time competing back in T-Mobile since accepting the award there.
I already know I'm going to be super emotional. I can't hide it. It's just I'm somebody that always bottles things up. And whenever I compete, there's so much on the line and so much pressure you put on yourself, and people, wanting you to do good, that you want to do good, and you're just afraid of having a bad performance. That's always the issue. And you put so much hard work into it, you just want to go out there and have a great performance. So emotions are always high. I know having the crowd is going to really impact that, and then being back at the T-Mobile since my Hall of Fame induction is going to feel special. And I'm excited to go out there and fight freely and know that I've cemented myself and my legacy in this sport, and at the end of the day, I get to go out there and just have fun.
You've mentioned fun and you mentioned pressure. We ask everybody that goes up there about different types of pressure. You've been in this sport for so long. Does the pressure ever change?
I think it's gotten harder, honestly, because, I try to tell people when I was 20 and I was broke and I had nothing, I was in my mind like, I'm willing to die in there. I got nothing, And now, sorry, I have a nice life. I have all these things. I have, I've maintained a certain level of greatness in the sport, and hasn't always been that great, but I've always had exciting fights, so people expect that of me now. I didn't have expectations when I was younger, and so for me to have to live up to that, I put a lot of pressure on myself, but I believe that pressure is good. You just can't let it break you. You let it, I call it, it could cripple you, or it could be your superpower. That pressure that when you on fight night, if you absorb it, it's a superpower. And that's the whole goal, is to make it a superpower and not cripple you.
Cub, right here. Talk about the UFC Hall of Fame. Another Hall of Fame that you're in is the Jackson Wink Hall of Fame, and as is Andrei Arlovsky and Michelle Waterson, who are all on this card. I guess, what does it mean to you to be fighting alongside them on Saturday and, I guess, represent that gym, which I know you guys have been away from for a while now, but still?
Yeah, and I think we're sharing a locker room, which is going to be pretty cool. Andre's somebody that I've been watching forever, and to see people like him and Clay Guida still going, it's like, why does everyone keep asking me about my age, But they're an inspiration. And then Michelle, I've been around her for a lot of her journey, so it's really cool to watch. I've seen these guys and girls at their highest and at their lowest, and so you really get to know people around those times. And yeah, it's definitely going to feel special, and I know that nerves are going to be heightened at that time, and I think it's going to make for all of us to have good performances.
Cub, real quick, sorry. I know Conor McGregor departs the card and they reshuffle it the way that they did. You can argue that it's more competitive and more interesting maybe at the top of the card now without him. I guess how would you assess the card that they were able to put together at the top, and what how do you think that could potentially just play out on Saturday?
I mean, obviously everyone wants to see Conor fight, and it's unfortunate. But I mean, honestly, I feel like the card got better. Don't want people saying I'm hating. I think it did. But ultimately, fans wanted to see him fight. I hope he does come back and healthy. But yeah, I think the card is amazing, and they do such a good job. That's why the sport does so well, is that they can put together these big fights on the fly, and fighters are always willing to step up, and it's pretty cool to see. I'm just glad that they didn't ask me to fight on short notice. Good. All right, thanks, guys.
Ian, obviously all the talk, recently was all the reshuffling of the lineup and all the short notice and all that. But now that it's all settled in, it's fight week. I feel like a lot of people are dialing in on this fight. Is it feeling like a big moment and a big fight for you?
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. I've said it, like, I'm doing stuff differently in this game. I'm undefeated, I'm 26 years of age, and I'm putting on a show every time I go out there. My striking skill set is unbelievable, and I feel like the more I compete, the more I fight, the more people are going to see just how good I am, and that's something that excites me.
This has not been a tense build-up, right? I mean, you've been quite kind of reserved. Was that by design, or was it just the way you were feeling at the time?
No, it was absolutely a conscious decision. I wanted to really strip back all of the kind of rushing feeling and really be present in the day, really be present with my family, my friends, my team. I played a lot of golf this time to just really take myself out of the hard work of training and that mental grind, because for me, if I want to be a champion, live that championship lifestyle, and that championship lifestyle isn't just grind. It's enjoy every day. It's enjoy the people you live with. It's enjoy the people you train and travel the world with. And I feel like I'm a better human when I have time to myself to be present, away from social media, go play some golf that I love and adore, and then I come back and I hit the ground running Monday morning, and I go away again on Friday night, and I play some more golf, because that makes me happy. And a happy me is a dangerous me.
Can you talk about the inspiration of the T-shirt? Is it worried about, putting out some bad karma, or is it manifesting things?
Have you seen every bit of merch I've ever released before any fight? It's always, I've won this fight, we're thinking about the next one. Look, it's the tally T, it's 15-0. This is meant to be me and Conor representing Ireland on the biggest stage. This is what I'm doing. I am representing my country on the biggest platform that I can possibly do it on. And I've already taken out MVP in my mind. I know how good I am. I know how elite I am. And it's just good time for me to go out there Saturday night and prove it.
I wouldn't say the MVP was here earlier talking trash, but he wasn't the most respectful about you as a person. Cool. Are you expecting antics, press conference, face-offs? Are you expecting things to get a little tense?
No. No. What's he going to do?
You're going to fight on Saturday either way, right?
That's the way I approach it. Regardless of what he says, regardless of what he does, Saturday night we get locked into an octagon together. So for me, like I said, being present, enjoying the moment, enjoying the fans at ceremonial weigh-ins, enjoying the fans at the press conference, and that energy that you can soak up and then use to go out there and reach a different level on Saturday night, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to put on a show.
Last thing for me, I know the ultimate goal is world champion, but what do you think this fight proves? What does it prove to people? And are you worried at all that you win this fight and people just go, that was just the Bellator guy. He was never that good to begin with?
That's part of the reason why I'm not excited about this. Here's the way I've been putting it all week. Is MVP very talented? Absolutely. I don't think there's anyone that would say he isn't very talented at what he does. I respect his game and his skill set. You have to, otherwise you're being an idiot. Do I think I'm better than him? 100 million %. Like, I know I am. My intelligence, my IQ, everything that I do, I just know I'm better than him. But he's had one win in the UFC. One win in the UFC. He's ranked 13 in the world. He hasn't dominated in the UFC for so long. He has been built up by Bellator against people he was meant to beat. And he went out and beat them. He put on shows against people he was supposed to put on shows. That was a great business decision from him and Bellator to build his brand. But he's here now, and he's fighting someone 11 years younger. He's fighting someone who's faster, far more talent than he has ever been or ever will be. And I'm telling you, on Saturday night, the world is going to see just how fucking good I am.
Ian, going off that, kind of the Bellator side, he had said in here too that if this fight happened in Bellator, everyone would be saying he's fighting a can.
Mate, let's be real about that. He's fighting. If this was in Bellator, he'd be fighting a can. How so? Let's engage that. How so?
He didn't really elaborate. I mean, I'm sure he...
What he's trying to do is talk out of his fucking arse and make it that he's more elite than me. 7 wins in the UFC, 14-0 undefeated. I've beaten 3 ranked opponents. I am on my way to be a world champion. There's a reason why everyone's talking about me being one of the best prospects this sport's ever seen. MVP is coming to the UFC to try and legitimize his career at Bellator. I'm going to end that on Saturday night.
Do you think, because he says that, then like later on he'll be like, I actually think he has really good skills and like this thing and the other. So do you think he's maybe almost confused about how he feels about you?
No, I just think he doesn't know what he's. By the way, I want to say something. MVP is very well spoken. He's very well spoken. He is very well media trained. But I think he just doesn't know how good I am and then links everything. Because every person, when they say they fight me, I've told you this time and time again, he says, I'm not the level of the opponent I've faced before. He's going to knock me out. He's going to show me that he's going to take me to deep water. Everyone that's fought MVP is like, he's just a Bellator tick. He's just this. He's just that. The truth is you have to respect his skill set. I can respect him, but be so much better than him and prove that on Saturday night. And at the end of the day, we're getting locked in a cage together. I'm going to prove it myself. So whatever he has to say, whatever I have to say, means fuck all. Saturday night and get my hand raised, and that's my job done.
Yeah, I guess kind of last thing that he referenced, he went on a little rant saying that you're a fake Conor McGregor. I'm sure you've heard that one before. Is that something you just feel that you're going to deal with for the entirety of your career? People are going to try to use that almost against you as a negative thing?
Let me word this right. Anyone saying that I am trying to be like Conor McGregor or I am trying to do something to be like Conor, I take that as a compliment. He's the greatest star the sport's ever seen. So if you're comparing me to him, it means I'm doing something right. Now, people are saying I want to be like him. I'm not trying to be like him in any way, shape, or form. Have I been inspired by him? Absolutely. How many people talked about Kobe Bryant trying to be like Michael Jordan? Kobe Bryant went out and made a legacy of his own. Kobe Bryant went out and made a legacy of his own in his own way, but having similar traits and styles to Jordan. I'm born and bred from Dublin, Ireland. Conor is born and bred from Dublin, Ireland. He talks the walk, he walks the walk, and backs it up. I am the exact same. Conor has done everything he said he's going to do in his career. I have yet to prove what I have done and what I need to do. That's my job. So my job is to continue what I'm doing on my journey to destiny, on the goal that I have been set, the destiny that has been written for me. It's my goal to do it my way. And at the end of it, people are just going to say, wow, this kid was special and he did it his own way. And that's the only way I look at it.
Ian, over here. When you first broke into the UFC, obviously you were pretty vocal that you wanted to be on the Conor's return card, like wherever it was. You also wanted Colby. You were pretty vocal about that, and now Conor is not fighting and you're not getting Colby. Would you have chosen to fight on this card against MVP if, you know, Conor had pulled out like maybe far earlier, or was this date the date you wanted?
I wanted to fight around this time anyway. Would I have waited till August maybe if someone was available to fight? Potentially. But it was too big an opportunity to miss, to pass up on, to potentially fight on the same card as Conor, regardless of who the opponent was. I've made it very vocal. I have zero interest in fighting MVP. I have no interest. What interested me was being on the same card as Conor. Now, I have to say, like, I am grateful that MVP took the opportunity to take this fight. I am grateful he said yes. I am grateful he's going to show up, and he is going to bring it. But I was grateful because it was meant to be on a Conor card. Now, I'm going out here to steal this show. I'm going out here to show the world just how good I am. If Conor's not here, there's every reason that I can be the biggest name on this card after this fight's done.
Have you heard from a lot of Irish fans that maybe didn't return their ticket and still flew out to watch Conor, but they're sticking around for you?
Listen, if the Irish say they're going to do something, they're going to go do it. So anyone that's booked their flights, anyone that's booked, do you think an Irishman's going, fuck it, I'll cancel my flight to Vegas, I won't go on a bender, I'll just cancel my shit and I'll stay at home? No fucking way. Every single person that bought tickets, that bought flights, they're all coming. They ain't turning away a weekend for a bender. So look, I am telling you, when we have, look, having me and Conor on a card would have been amazing. 2 horses in a race is always unbelievable, especially when one of them is Conor McGregor. I'm still here. I am still fighting. And I am flying the flag for my country and representing them on the biggest stage the world has ever seen. I am going to show up and show out on Saturday night, and the world's going to be left speechless.
You've also obviously been doing your past few camps at Shoot to Boxing down in Brazil. They're obviously historically known for these wild, you know, brawls like Vanderlei, Shogun, and everything. MVP doesn't really present that type of
fight. I don't fuck with that either. I'm too pretty. I ain't getting hit that much, dude. I was pissed that Jeff Neal hit me a left hand and busted and blew up my lip. I was pissed. I was like, fuck, I look ugly in that. For me, I've said this. I've spoke to the guys. The Brazilians have a different aggressive energy. And when you look at Shogun, you look at Vanderlei, you look at all of the guys that came. There was one outlier, and it was Anderson Silva. There was one. Everyone else was almost exactly the same. Do you know what I mean? They all came out, they were going to run at you, not stop, and they all had phenomenal strike and phenomenal jiu-jitsu. I have traveled the world and learned from some of the best coaches and teammates and fighters on the planet. I am a sponge. I am basing myself out of my home now and shoot the box, but I will continue to travel the world because I believe I can evolve and grow and change this game from an athlete point of view by learning and having this knowledge. So I will take from shoot the box what I believe is elite and high and the best for me to add to my game, but I will not copy any one style on the planet. I will mold it and I will make it my own and I will become elite, and that's why I'll be one of the greatest to ever live.
What's it like sparring down there?
Okay, now I tell you what, dude, there's a guy fighting on Contender Series on August 22nd or 26th. His name is Marco Tulliu. When I tell you he is one of the most frightening guys to stand across from, it's like I've head kicked him clean in the head and he ends up closer to me after the head kick. I don't know how it's possible. He just eats it, comes in, and I'm like, oh, fuck, this is going to be a horrible 5 minutes. So I watch out for him. He's a huge name. I guarantee he's already won on Contender Series, but he's absolutely going to go out here and get his UFC contract, and I'm telling you, he's going to be a star. His fight style is unbelievable.
And just last one for me. Can I get your thoughts on the main event between Jiri and Alex?
You want me to break it down?
The floor is yours.
Right. So I think we all understand how special Poatan is and the power he possesses. When you have that power, fights are just easy because you hit someone and they're out. I think Jiri needs to go out there and he needs to kick. He needs to kick to the body and he needs to kick to the head because Poatan has this lower guard because he likes to feint and lunge in with that left hook and be aggressive with that right hand. If Jiri kicks more to the hands and kicks more to the head, it means Poatan has to shut down. And that's the right style if you're Jiri Prochazka to have success. You need to put him in a box and make him open up. It's a lot harder said than done though, right? That's the way I would look at it if I was Jiri. Obviously, you could try to take him down, but I don't think that's how the fight's going to go. Poatan is one of the best kickboxers the world's ever seen. He has power for days, and he has technique. His calf kicks are unbelievable. His left hook is just dynamite. I really feel like he's awkward for everyone because of that. And truly, I think he scares the shit out of people when he stands across him and he's just like that stone. I just think it's such a tough fight for everyone in the division that he's going to win this one by a spectacular knockout. And I don't think anyone's going to be surprised by that.
Ian, over here. Where would a win, especially a knockout over MVP, he hasn't been knocked out since 2019, where would that put you in the division, in your opinion?
Probably 2 positions up because he's ranked number 13 in the world and he's not done enough to garner breaking up to the top 3. So I believe I'm going to be fighting for a world title in a year's time in Las Vegas, Nevada, International Fight Week. This fight obviously moves me up the ranks. I believe it will probably put me above Colby and Gilbert, and they might move Jack Della Maddalena up, and I'll be breaking into the top 5. I then feel like I have to go out and prove more against the guys who have dominated the division for so long. You've got examples of Usman and Colby. I believe I need to beat these guys before I step into the octagon for a world title because I need to prove that to me, to the world, and then go out and do what I do is dominate.
It seems like the one name who doesn't have an opponent right now is Shavkat Rakhmonov. Do you see that as a potential opponent with a win here?
Fucking right I do. 18-0 undefeated, 18 finishes. I'm game for that. I do believe that after Leon and Bilal, he's going to be fighting for the world title. I think he makes the most sense to be next. So me sitting here saying I'm going to fight him next doesn't make sense in my mind. But absolutely, that's a fight that's going to happen down the line. I think both me and him stylistically match up well. We sparred together. I mean, I've shared the cage with him in Kilcliff, down training with Henry Hoof. I've sparred him. I've learned with him. We've spoke. You know what I mean? He's a phenomenal fighter in every aspect of the game. I have nothing but respect for him. And to go out there and take his O and him to try to take my O, that's going to be a fight. I would love to do that for a world title. I would love him to get the world title and then for me and him to fight and take his O and take the belt.
Ian, right here down the middle.
What's up, pal? How are you? It's always good to see you again.
It is great to see you, man. I have a question. With Shootbox, is the reason you guys such a great fit because you're already blonde and you don't have to bleach your hair?
I've been telling them they all dye their hair blonde so they can have striking like me. That's what I keep telling them. And they all get annoyed. They're like, no, we did this for you. I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. You guys see my striking and you said we should dye our hair like him. No, I feel like I have a very family-orientated lifestyle. I have a very passionate, caring emotion about me. And every single person that walks through that door has a very similar feeling. They have so much care. They love their training partners so much that they're all there to help them no matter what they're doing. I feel like they are just different. They are just different and their energy is amazing, and it's a pleasure and an honor to be a part of Shoot the Box as a team. To anyone at Shoot the Box who's listening, ci amo famiglia, ti amo junto.
I thought it was a crime that while the fans in Dublin were excited for Conor and Mike to get a press conference, that they didn't add you and MVP to the presser announcement. Is that what needs to happen when they rebook it?
I think it would be stupid not to. I think absolutely I should be there.
And then final question, you talked a lot about, you know, the rankings and this and that. What would it prove to yourself to get a win over Michael Venom Page?
When I beat Michael, it's going to prove that my striking is just different. I'm just elite and I'm special, and everyone's going to be left going, he's a problem.
Just over here.
How are we?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. It's good to be here.
You spoke about the title picture. You know, obviously we've got the world title coming up in Manchester. How do you think it goes down between Bilal and Leon?
I've been saying this for so long. I think Leon is so clean. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And when you don't make a lot of mistakes, it's hard to capitalize. He's so talented in all assets of the game. Obviously, I have trained with him and spent time with him, and he's phenomenal. He's phenomenally talented. I believe the biggest question mark for me in this is how has Bilal's training with Khabib and that Sambo style and that aggressive top pressure, how is that going to play into the title picture? If he gets him down, can he dominate and have that beautiful onslaught of aggression that we've seen from the people like Khabib and Islam and Umar and Usman that they have, because it's sensational. So for me, I think it's going to be a Leon Edwards 25-minute decision. I think he's going to dominate and just try calculatedly decipher and decode Bilal's game. It's up to Bilal to bring the dog out.
And in terms of your fight with MVP, you know, he has a very unique style. So how do you prepare for someone like him?
If you try to prepare for anyone else on the planet, you are going to fail, because you're going to spend so much time focusing on someone else's game, you are going to lose out on growth. Obviously, I assess and stylistically go, this and this and this will make sense to add to my game. But focusing on myself to become the best athlete I can be and the best fighter I can be is always plan A. Understanding what's going to work and what's going to be utilized in the fight, absolutely important. But focusing on entirely growing myself as a fighter, from cardio to strength and conditioning, to speed, to nutrition, to striking, to grappling, to wrestling, and really just honing it all in, that's how you become one of the greatest of all time. We've seen GSP, we've seen John Jones. They don't have holes. And that's the main thing. If you want to be in that conversation, you need to be unbelievable in every asset of the game.
And talking about holes and his game, his style, you know, how would you break down his style? Because he has his hands down a lot. You know, what kind of openings do you see?
The hands down is so that you don't see the shots coming. A lot of people don't have a very good peripheral vision, especially when we're all doing this nowadays. We're all sitting here looking at our phones and swiping. It's hard to see so far. Another reason why when I go play golf, I don't have my phone. I'm looking so far, I can see a ball 350 yards away. I'm like, there it is. It's practicing. It's using your eyes. It's using the muscles that you see. It's everything. And for me, my eyes and my intelligence are the biggest thing that I have. My fight IQ is unmatched, I believe. And again, I have to prove that. So for me, I'll go in there and I'll just go off the cuff, see what happens, see what shots are there, and take advantage of them.
And when you look at the fight in your mind, how do you see it playing out?
I think he's going to be very patient and cautious. I use the example of MVP versus Douglas Lima, where in this where he went out, and in the first 2.5 minutes, it was a lot of feinting, a lot of moving, a lot of trying to get Douglas to open up or throw and respond. He only threw 2 shots. And I think he's going to respect me, and I think he's going to understand how talented I am, and he is going to come out with a similar style to that. And if he doesn't, I'm going to finish him even faster.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ian, just 2 quick ones.
Yo.
Just 2 quick ones.
How was that time out in Brazil? Did you go eat in Brazil?
It was good.
Yeah, it was good, right? It's different.
It was good. So just going back to the fake Conor McGregor comments, he kind of expanded on it a little bit. He said he's the fake Conor McGregor. He's the BBL version. He called you BBL Garry. So do you have a nickname for MVP?
Dead.
Simple enough. And Kevin Holland actually spoke about his fight with him. And he said they talked afterward after the fight was over. And at his last fight, he was asked about it. He said, what did you say to him? He said, did he tell you guys? No. He said he was kind of greasy, right? Kevin Holland compared him to trying to grab a wet bar of soap in the shower when he went to grapple with him. So when you hear things like that, when he might be greasy, what do you think about that?
What's he trying to imply there, out of curiosity? Is there a hidden thing he's trying to imply there without going all in? Hit me with that. What do you feel like?
I couldn't tell you. From what he told us, he said it was when he went to grapple MVP, he said it was hard to get a hold of the guy.
Well, yeah, he's like a fucking twig. He's skinny. He's going to slip out. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if he shaves his legs and stuff or he shaves his arms, but that makes it hard. Have you ever tried to grab a fish? It just slides out of your hand. When you get sweaty, that's why we see so many people shoot for takedowns early, because people are dry. The later on it goes in the fight, we see people slip off and end up in positions they didn't want to because they jump it and, oh shit, it's slippy. And a lot of people don't train with no tops on ahead of the fight. And I think it's ridiculous, because you need to put yourself in the exact position that you're going to be in the fight. Cup on, gum shield in, gloves on, let's go. So I haven't got an idea of what he's going to be like to grapple, because I'm going to strike with him and I'm going to punch the mouth off him. But I think I've been able to grapple everyone I've ever needed to grapple in training ever. And even when they're good at defending, you just keep going. So I don't think Kevin Holland has the greatest wrestling offense or jiu-jitsu offense. He's good off his back to a certain extent, and he's got great striking, but I'm different. I'm built differently. Appreciate you guys. Enjoy the show.
Mayra, obviously you had a chance to fight for a title. Didn't go the way that you wanted it to go, of course, but I just wonder what lessons you took out of, competing at that high level.
Você teve a chance de lutar por título, não foi da maneira como você esperava, mas que experiências você extraiu de ter competido naquele nível, uma luta por título?
Na verdade, as coisas fugiram um pouco do controle, né? Como todos sabem, eu tive uma lesão no segundo round, não consegui manter a luta que eu fiz no primeiro round. E fica de lição que eu sou a melhor do mundo, porque eu dominei a campeã e ela não conseguiu fazer absolutamente nada enquanto eu estava inteira.
I think, lessons can be extracted about this. The fact that I think people saw that I am the best in the world because I was able to actually neutralize and keep her at bay in that first round. As everybody knows, I had an injury starting the second round. So when I was 100%, she wasn't able to do anything. And that's the lesson that I can take out of it.
Obviously, there was the physical part of getting back over the injury, but the mental part, I guess, knowing that you were that close to having the title, was that difficult to deal with in the time between this fight?
Obviamente que teve a parte de se recuperar dessa lesão, mas também teve a outra parte que vem depois de recuperar da lesão, é pensar, poxa, eu estive tão próxima. Como é que você lidou com isso, o fato de que você estava ali?
Man, a glory of God's everything in my life. I don't know. I know I am the best in the world. My mind's okay. My heart's okay. Saturday, I promise, I give a show for everybody. I promise.
The fight back, main card, International Fight Week, Las Vegas. I guess, what did it say to you that the UFC put you back in this big featured position again?
Voltando a lutar, International Fight Week, card principal, 303 International Fight Week. Como é que você se sente que o UFC te colocou de volta nisso?
I'm feeling great, and it's another opportunity, I think now is going to be different than my last fight, and I'm ready for a show. I am the best.
What do you think of Macy as an opponent, and what maybe she presents to you that you haven't seen before that could be challenging?
O que você pensa da Macy como adversária? O que ela mostra para você que outras não mostraram que pode ser desafio?
Nothing. I think something is different for her for another opponent is she is longer, she's moved a lot, but she don't have nothing for me. I will finish her.
Last thing for me, you go out there and finish her, International Fight Week. Do you start talking about a title again, or do you wait? I know there's a couple contenders in line, but what do you feel the path is for you from here?
E a minha última pergunta, sabemos que é International Fight Week, você luta, você termina, você está esperando, mas você já, qual o próximo passo? Você já quer lutar por título novamente?
I believe I am next because I finished my fight. I have a lot of performance of the night. I have a lot of fight of the night. And no exists in this division nobody like me. I am the best.
Mayra, over here. You had obviously fought in a lower weight class, and Macy's fought all the way up at featherweight too. So did you have to bring in anyone specifically to prepare for a woman that's just physically longer, but has also fought in much higher weight classes than you?
Você já lutou mais leve, ela já lutou já em pena, ela já é uma pessoa maior. Você teve que trazer alguém especificamente para treinar com você, para trazer essa envergadura e também o tamanho dela?
Ma'am, I terminate ATT. I have the best in the world with me. I don't need nobody. I don't need nobody.
Are you surprised that you're returning to fight before Raquel Pennington, even though she won the title?
Você está surpresa que você está voltando a lutar antes dela, porque o fato ela ser campeã hoje, você está lutando antes?
No, because I think she don't like fight, Look, I fight too much with her. She don't like fight. She thinks she's a champion, but she don't is. I will prove I'm the best. I prove in the first round, but she's have a look and punch your jumping explosion. But she don't like fight.
A lot of people are debating whether Kayla Harrison or Juliana Pena should get the next title shot. I'm curious, who do you think deserves the next shot at the title?
Algumas pessoas falam em Kayla, outro. Você entendeu? Pode falar.
I think everybody want to fight with Juliana because Juliana is easy money. Everybody. The champion wanted Juliana because it's more easy than Kayla. But I think Juliana deserves this chance because this is two chicken shit, yeah? And then I think she deserves because she ruined everyone, and then she won an easy fight.
If you do work your way back to a title shot and Kayla's there, would you guys have to have that conversation of over because you both train at ATT?
No, I help her. She helped me. I think when this thing happened, we talk about, but we don't have problem about that because we are professional. And then we don't have problem about this. If you one day Dana White and Hunter talk about fight with Kayla, I think we fight because we fight in the gym. When pay, it's better.
And final one for me. Can I get your thoughts on the main event between Jiri and Alex?
Pensamentos gerais sobre como vai ser Poatan contra Jiri.
Chama. Chama. Knockout.
Mayra, what did you think of Kayla Harrison's UFC debut at UFC 300?
O que você achou da estreia da Kayla no 300?
She's amazing, man. She's a beast. I trained with her. It's hard. So hard.
Chama.
Lex, here you are, stepping in on short notice to save the day at International Fight Week. So I'm just curious, how you feel to be the guy that when Conor McGregor has to step out, the biggest star in the sport, they call you to step in.
Estamos aí com você, Alex, Semana Internacional da Luta. Acabou vindo para cá em 2 semanas, né, de aviso. Como é que você se sente aí sendo agora a estrela do show no lugar do Conor McGregor?
Eu estou sentindo muito bem, né? Independente se eu peguei a luta em cima da hora ou não. Estou feliz de estar lutando. É isso, estou muito feliz.
I feel very good right now, regardless short notice or not. I'm just very happy to be here.
Obviously, the first fight against Jiri, you got the result that you wanted. But when you break down your performance, how satisfied are you or dissatisfied with things you did in there in that performance?
Claro, nessa luta com o Prochazka você conseguiu o resultado que você queria, mas avaliando a luta agora, as coisas que você gostou e não gostou daquela luta. Como é que você avalia a sua performance?
Não, eu estou avaliando muito bem, né? Acho que foi tudo assim positivo. Claro que eu não esperava o nocaute, assim, igual eu sempre falei, estou lutando ali pelos 5 rounds e se acontece algo assim como aconteceu, é claro que eu vou ficar muito mais feliz, mas é isso.
No, I think it was a very good fight. I think I'm very happy with my performance. You know what I mean? Did not expect that knockout. I always fight for 5 rounds. It happened before better, so I'm happy.
With Jiri, obviously everybody focused on kind of his wildness and his unpredictability. How difficult did you find that to adapt to in there, or was it easy?
Bom, o Jiri é cara que tem estilo imprevisível, bem solto, arrisca muito. Quão difícil você acha para lutar com um oponente como ele?
Não, sim, é um estilo diferente. A gente vê que é realmente um atleta ali sério, né? Então tem que tomar cuidado com tudo, né? Como eu falei, um estilo diferente, trocando a base, vem golpe de todo lado. Então tem que estar bem atento, né? Para que nada disso aconteça.
No, he's a great athlete. You know what I mean? I respect his style. He's a guy who composed and serious.
He throw punches from everywhere. He's a different guy, so it's hard to find a guy like that.
Last thing for me, obviously you can't look past Saturday night, but what you've done already is historic. What more do you want to do from here? And I mean, the company would probably owe you a favor or two after this. So what do you hope to do from here?
Bom, não olhando, passando o sábado, né? Que sábado é o mais importante, mas digamos que ter tudo bem no sábado. Pô, você conquistou quase tudo já. Qual que seria o seu próximo passo? Achei que a companhia agora te deve um favor, né?
Bom, meu foco é estar defendendo meu cinturão, né? Quero ganhar essa luta e defendendo. Eu não tenho um plano, né, específico, o que eu vou fazer. Só quero defender. Vou estar preparado para qualquer um.
My focus is to defend my belt. I do not have a specific plan, but I just want to defend my belt and I'll be ready for anybody.
Alex, earlier today, Jiri was in here and he said that he believes you use shamans, magic, and spiritual help to compete in the octagon, and he would like to challenge you in this fight that you don't do that and you just perform physically.
O Giri estava aqui mais cedo e falou de novo que acredita que você apela para a ajuda dos xamãs, né, e dos espíritos e da magia para ganhar as lutas, e desafiou você a lutar sem nada disso, lutar seco.
Bom, acho que todo mundo tem um espírito, né? Acho que ninguém vive só com o corpo, né? Se ele não acredita ou se ele não encontrou, né, o espírito dele, eu não tenho culpa.
Well, everybody have their own spirit. We're not only made of flesh and bone. I found mine. If he did not found his, or if he does not believe, it's not my fault.
Do you believe Jiri is one of the more unusual men that you've fought?
Você acha que o Prochazka seria o cara assim, como eu posso colocar a palavra, mais diferente assim que você lutou assim no contexto geral?
Sim, diferente. Eu acho que sim, dá para considerar. Quando eu falo mais diferente, não que seja, como eu posso dizer,
No contexto geral, o unusual é a palavra como diferente no sentido assim, pô, um cara que não é diferente.
Não tecnicamente?
Não, no contexto geral.
Não, eu acho que, sei lá, cada um tem seu jeito, expressão, né? Para mim ele é um cara normal, né? Dessa forma, para mim ele é um cara normal.
On a normal way, man, for me he's a normal guy. Everybody have their own ways and their own expressions, but for me he's just a normal guy.
Alex, right here. On the UFC countdown, Jiri said he felt he was getting the better of you in round 2 before you scored the knockout. I'm curious, when you go back and watch that, do you agree? And do you see things that you really need to work on from that first fight, even though you won?
No countdown do UFC, o Jiri falou que acho que estava tendo o melhor da luta, estava ganhando, estava indo bem, até você nocautear ele. Você concorda com isso e acha que tem aspectos que você teria que melhorar ou não?
Não sei se eu concordo com ele, mas isso para mim não me importa, né? São 5 rounds, né? Então ele pode estar ganhando, né? Pô, chegar no último round eu posso ganhar ainda. Então, pergunta para ele o que ele acha quando ele lutou com o Glover.
Well, I don't know. Like for me, honestly, I see the fight like as a whole. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how the fight's been playing, the result. So if it's like that, why don't you ask him what do he think of his fight with Glover?
Alex, right here. Alex, there's a photo on the internet that seems to show you on Google Maps working at the tire shop years ago. Can you confirm have you seen the photo and can you confirm whether or not it is you?
Tem uma foto no Google Maps, quando você coloca o endereço da borracharia, que mostra na foto lá você trabalhando anos atrás. Você confirma que é você naquela foto ali?
Com certeza. Acho que não dá para ver direito, que está meio embaçada a foto, mas eu me conheço e com certeza sou eu.
No, absolutely, it's me. You can really have a full image, you know what I mean, because it looks a little cloudy, but for sure I know myself that's me.
When you reflect on that time in your life, what do you remember most compared to your life now?
Quando você lembra daquela época na sua vida, o que você compara mais comparado com você agora?
Um cara mais maduro, né, experiente, que tem planos, tem objetivos, sonhos, é muito diferente.
Much more mature person, a guy that now have goals, have plans. So I think somebody much different than before.
And my final question, just wondering your thoughts on the upcoming fight between Tom Aspinall and Curtis Blades.
a última dele. O que você acha da luta do Tom Aspinall com o Curtis Blades que está vindo aí?
Pô, não sei não.
I don't know.
Thank you. Alex, right here to your right. Regarding your YouTube, I was curious, why did you feel like now was the time to tell that untold story from alcoholism to becoming world UFC champion?
Bom, falando sobre o seu YouTube, por que você acha que agora é a hora de você estar falando da sua história não contada sobre a sua vitória sobre o alcoolismo até virar campeão?
Bom, acho que foi uma fase assim, muito difícil, né? Muito triste, né? Todo mundo sabe quem tem problema com álcool, né? Isso não afeta só a pessoa que tá bebendo, mas afeta todas as pessoas que realmente gostam, né, da pessoa. Então, eu acho que eu não estava só prejudicando só a mim, mas assim essas outras pessoas e bom, diversas coisas, né, que fez com que eu tomasse essa decisão, né, de estar parando, né? Mas não, tenho certeza que o esporte, pô, foi a principal causa aí para me livrar desse vício.
I felt like I had to tell the story, show people that sometimes the alcoholism does not only affect you, but actually affect everybody around you. And I wanted to just show people that the sport can save you.
Reflecting on that story, it reminded me of one that Shaquille O'Neal, NBA legend, had shared. Basically, his father had brought him after a game, after he had a bad game, and showed him a homeless family on the street and said, that's pressure. For you, when you reflect on your story, what do you characterize as pressure now?
Bom, isso até lembra ele da história do Shaquille O'Neal, né, lenda do basquete, porque teve uma vez que ele falou pro pai dele que não estava aguentando a pressão do jogo. E o pai dele levou ele na rua e mostrou, né, o sem-teto, um mendigo lá, passando fome, e falou, isso aí é pressão. Aí, como é que você reflete hoje no nível de pressão que você tem, comparado com aquela época?
Bom, eu olho, igual falou da foto ali na borracharia, né? Como eu falei, uma vida um pouco sofrida, né? Tem muitas boas lembranças, mas também muitas más lembranças. E a mesma coisa, eu não quero voltar para essa vida, né? Então, eu estou trabalhando, né? E também não quero que meus filhos passem pelo que eu passei. Então, estou fazendo de tudo aí para dar uma vida melhor para eles. Então, eu olho para isso, né? Para me motivar.
I can relate to that because, you know what I mean, same as we just spoke about the photo on the tire shop, you know what I mean, they were very hard times for me, and I do not want to go back to that. I want to be able to give my kids a better life and keep making sure that they don't live the same.
My final question, reflecting on all those many successes and moments of triumph in your life, what do you feel like stands as the greatest and like the most fulfilling that you've experienced so far?
De todas as conquistas da sua vida, qual que você acha que foi a maior conquista que você já tem, assim, que você se sente mais satisfeito com ela?
De ser uma pessoa melhor.
Of being a better person.
Thank you.
Alex, I just wanted your opinion on Conor McGregor pulling out with a broken toe when we all know that you fought with a broken toe at UFC 300.
Queria saber sua opinião sobre o Conor McGregor sair da luta por causa do dedinho quebrado e você lutar com o dedinho quebrado.
Eu acho que são situações diferentes. Eu acho que ele fez a melhor coisa. Porque eu não aconselho ninguém a estar lutando com o dedo quebrado, porque isso limita muito, né? Eu fiquei bastante limitado. As condições são outras, né? Pô, o cara, né, tem a vida dele, trabalhou para isso, de conquistar tudo que conquistou. Eu estou no meio do caminho, estou conquistando as minhas coisas. Então eu aceitei, achei melhor aceitar, né, de lutar, né, fazer a luta mesmo com o dedo quebrado, porque eu estava em outras condições. Então eu acho que ele fez a melhor coisa. Talvez eu no lugar dele faria o mesmo.
Well, can never judge people's pain, you know what I mean? Like different scenarios, different situations. You know what I mean? He made his name, he made his money, he made his life. I'm kind of halfway there. So I fought with the broken toe due to my situation, but maybe if I was on his situation, I had not fought. So we cannot judge.
And finally, were you guaranteed a rematch with Jiri if you were to lose?
Se der alguma coisa errada sábado, você tem uma revanche garantida com o Prochazka?
Não tem nada certo, né? Mas eu acredito que a organização, né, o UFC, tenha esse interesse, porque imagina eu perdendo a luta, pô, estaria 1-1 e, pô, beleza, o Prochazka lá é o campeão, tal. Quem que vai enfrentar ele? Tem vários, mas eu acho que uma luta que venderia melhor seria, né, uma terceira luta.
Nothing's right with the organization, but I think that, you know what I mean, if in case that Jiri wins on Saturday, I think it makes more sense for organization for a straight rematch. You have a lot of guys over there on the line, but I think in terms of making a fight, I think that would make more sense.
Alex, right here. Your old buddy Anthony Smith said in his analysis of this fight that he thinks this situation is the best case scenario for Jiri to win. Do you think that's fair at all, especially given your history in kickboxing, the amount of times you fought on short notice, multiple times on a night? Do you think that's off analysis from Anthony?
Bom, o Anthony Smith falou que ele acha que com toda a situação que está essa luta, melhor caso pro Jiri ganhar, né? Você sendo um cara do kickboxing que está acostumado a lutar sempre, né? Tá bem experiente. O que você fala disso aí? O Anthony Smith veio aqui e falou que acha que dá muita chance do Jiri ganhar por causa da situação da luta ser de última hora e tudo. Mas você é um cara do kickbox acostumado a lutar sempre. O que você tem a dizer sobre isso aí?
Não tem nada a dizer não. Essa é a opinião dele. E eu acho que eu espero que ele tenha uma boa luta, o Anthony Smith.
I don't have nothing to say. That's his opinion. I hope he have a good fight.
If he wins, are you interested in maybe fighting him, getting this done?
Você ganhando, sabe, é um cara que você teria interessado a lutar?
Eu luto com qualquer um, né? Não sou eu que escolho, né? Vou estar pronto, vou estar preparado, assim como eu tô pronto para essa luta.
I'll fight anybody, man. I'm not the one that choose, but I'll be ready just like I was for this fight.
Alex, just over here. You've captured titles in 2 divisions now, and you've headlined some of the biggest events. What is left for you to achieve? Do you have any other goals?
Bom, você agora conquistou 2 cinturões e já fez luta principal nos maiores eventos. O que falta ainda aí para você conquistar, você acha? Tem mais algum objetivo?
Não tenho nada específico, né? Igual eu falei, eu quero defender o meu cinturão. Né? Eu não sei quanto tempo eu fico, né, nesse esporte, tenho 36, vou fazer 37, mas eu me sinto muito bem. Mas eu não posso te falar quando que eu paro, né? E é isso.
Well, I feel good now. I want to defend my belt. I'm 36 years old. I'm turning 37 soon. So I do not know how long I'll be on the sport or how long I'll be fighting. So that's it.
And of course you have history with Israel Adesanya, and he has a chance to regain his title soon against Dricus du Plessis. How do you see that fight going down?
Bom, você tem uma história com a Adesanya e agora está marcado para lutar com o Dricus du Plessis. O que você tem a falar sobre essa luta aí?
Não tem muita coisa também não para falar, mas às vezes eu ultimamente estou errando muito, né? Mas de dar opiniões em lutas, por isso que eu não gosto de fazer isso. Mas sinceramente eu não vejo o Israel perdendo.
Well, you know what I mean, don't want to predict too much of the fight. You know what I mean, can never know. But I do not see. Você não vê o Israel perdendo, né? I do not see Israel Adesanya losing this fight.
Thank you.
Alex, the fight is a short notice, quick turnaround. How are you able to draw on those same experiences that you've dealt with in kickboxing and apply it for this situation?
Bom, essa luta aí só em 2 semanas, né, com uma reviravolta rápida, mas você já teve essa experiência no kickbox. Como é que você consegue usar essa experiência de estar lutando em cima da hora no kickbox para trazer para essa luta para MMA?
Bom, uma escola, né? O kickbox para mim foi uma escola, né? Tá chegando num grande evento e já ter passado por situações parecidas, eu diria que passei por situações até piores, né? Então eu estou acostumado com tudo isso. A luta é luta, ninguém sabe o que acontece e eu quero ganhar.
Well, kickboxing for me was a school, made me go through all, sometimes even better, even worse scenarios that I'm fighting now Saturday. So I'm just here to focus on fight.
Thank you.
Chama.
afternoon, everyone. For those of you who haven't seen one of these before, pretty good turnout. There may be some here. A few years back, we started this recognition program in our anti-doping program. First off, my name is Jeff Nowitzki. This is Donna Marcolini. We work with the anti-doping compliance team here at the UFC. And a few years back, we started a recognition program honoring athletes like Anthony Smith that have achieved testing milestones with a perfect test history. Anthony happens to recently achieved 50 perfect tests. Really, Anthony epitomizes our recipients of this program. They all have things in common. Those things are, A, they have staying power. They've been around for a while to get to 50 tests. Anthony's going on his 9th year in the UFC. Number 2, they've been successful. Any good testing program, when you distribute your testing numbers, you distribute them to your most successful athletes. So most of these athletes have been in the top 10, top 5, and championship level fighters. And then lastly, they're all dogs. They all grind, because in this program, you don't have the shortcuts that you can go to. You can't use things that'll help you recover or help you get stronger. It's really, truly a lot of hard work, a ton of hard work. To compound that, these guys are responsible for where they are every day of the year, 365 days. And when you have somebody like Anthony that is not only a busy fighter training, but he also does commentary. So every time he travels somewhere, he's responsible for letting us know where he's at so he can be tested. And he's done this perfectly throughout his 9 years. So we hope, as part of the story you tell of Anthony this week and his fighting and taking this last-minute fight, a part of that story also is that he's a clean athlete and has done all these right things, and that's what this program's all about. So congratulations, Anthony. We're really proud of you. And here's your 50-time jacket.
It's a pretty cool jacket.
I was just saying, obviously we've got a fight to talk about, but I mean, just the moment, getting a jacket, getting the award for this, the presentation, what does that mean for you?
Dude, this means a lot to me. You guys know I've always been, you know, the anti-PD guy and really holding people accountable and holding their feet to the fire. It's guys like me wouldn't survive without this program. I'm not the most gifted athlete. I never have been the most gifted athlete. And I've just always been committed. It's not like there wasn't opportunities early on in my career, just like a lot of people in my era. That could have all been very different. But without Jeff and Donna keeping it clean, like guys like me aren't going to make it. Like we're already a little bit behind, and we make up for it by being dogs and having a better work ethic and being able to go through the fire a little more than other people. But if people are getting a head start on us, the guys like me aren't going to make it. So, and like Jeff said, it is tough to be kind of tracked 365 days a year. You know, a lot of times I feel bad. I am in Donna's text messages constantly, like, oh my God, I'm at the airport, I'm about to fuck this up. You know, like I need you to help me change my whereabouts. You know, like before I actually leave. And the testers, or you know, even when USADA was around, like my kids, as my kids are growing, they're seeing these people all the time. Like, oh, Dennis is here. Like, they just at some point become part of the regular routine. You know, they're just used to seeing it. So, this is a pretty cool thing for me. It really is.
That's awesome, man. Well said. All right, let's talk about the fight, right? Obviously, no more short notice fights for you. You really got to manage the decisions at the end of the career. I guess, talk to me. I mean, at the end of the day, you're just a fighter, and that's what you do?
Yeah, listen, I told you guys before, I'm kind of trying to keep everything, like all these fights in a box. And I just make the decision based on that. It's kind of my new mindset. It's kind of this new thing that I'm going through. And I'm just not concerning myself so much with the title or where I'm at in the division or who's next. And just none of that matters. I just take whatever the offer is and I put it in a box and I make the right decision based on that and not where it would get me if I win. So when I was training with Jamal, I'd already been helping him get ready for Olberg. I'd already had Olberg on my mind for 4 or 5 weeks, trying to help Jamal get ready for him. Excuse me. And then Jamal was in Omaha when kind of this whole mess kind of started. And, you know, I had already been talking to Hunter and let Hunter know, like, look, I'm in shape. I'm ready to fight. Should you need me, this is before Jamal was hurt, like, if there's any main event situations that pop up, like anywhere I would be, like you would need my help, like I'm in shape and I'm ready to go. And then Jamal got hurt. And I was like, well, I fucking think I know where this is going. Like, that wasn't exactly the plan, but it is what it is. But I like the Ulberg fight. I like his style. I like his game. He was streaking. He's hot right now. It's a tough fight. But I felt familiar with him. So I was willing to step in and do that. You know, and then this whole mess of, you know, that all happens, and it is what it is.
Well, I was going to say, then when it changes again, do you go, oh, well, hold on, I don't know if I was ready for that.
No, not really. I mean, it's a different fight. So, I mean, I'm not a guy that really likes change that much. So, like, there was that initial, like, motherfucker, you know, like, God damn it. Like, I was pretty comfortable with at that point with the Ulberg fight. But it's hard to not want to fight a guy like Dolidze, and I mean that with the utmost respect. Like, he's an absolute dog. He brings the fight. You don't have to convince him to fight. He's got a great skill set. I think his style really, I don't know, it mends well with mine. Like, it meshes well with mine, where we can, I think we're going to have a goddamn barn burner. Like, he's not going to take a backward step, and neither am I. I like guys like that. I got a lot of respect for guys like that. So that part's exciting, and it's a little bit, you know, it gives you a little bit of nerves, you know, where you're like, I like that feeling. It's why I still do this. So, like, he makes me a little bit nervous, and I like it.
Dig it. The weight class, do you think it has any impact? I think he said he probably deserves to be a light heavyweight anyway, or needs to be. I don't know. What do you think?
He's a big dude. I mean, he's not a small middleweight. He's not the smallest light heavyweight. I'll tell you that. Yeah, as far as impact goes, I think that him moving up says a lot about my division. So if you guys want to do your jobs, go ask every available light heavyweight why there's a middleweight fighting this fight. They're going to make up a bunch of shit, but I think you guys can read between the lines. Every single one of them said no. So, you know, I'm the veteran, I'm the gatekeeper, like whatever those guys say. Well, why does Anthony get paid so much? And why does he get this opportunity? And why does he do this? Because I'm willing to do this shit that you guys won't do. Me fighting a middleweight on Saturday proves that to everybody. So I think all those guys just got exposed.
Strong words. Should be a great fight, like you said.
100%. And serious shout out to Roman Dolidze. It takes a lot of balls. Dude flew back to the States to step in there, a weight class up against a ranked opponent. That's a big deal. I think he should get a lot of credit for that.
I love it. Last thing for me, as you said, you're kind of everything in a box, not worried about where it projects you, et cetera. But just like schedule, frequency. I mean, after this, do you need time off, or is it like, hey, if another offer comes up, let me know. What's the plan?
Yeah, I'm afraid to say that because every time I say that, I fight. Like, I don't know why it works out like that. But yeah, I mean, there's some boxes at this point in my career that I want to check. You know, there's a couple arenas I'd like to fight in. I've never fought MSG before. I think it'd be a shame if I ended my career without fighting MSG. I just don't want to look too far ahead, so it feels uncomfortable to say, well, if this November doesn't work, I'll catch the next one. Like, you know, I'll be working on 37 on the next one. So if I can squeeze in November or something like that, I think that'd be cool, just like a bucket list thing.
Anthony, right here. When Roman was in here earlier, he said that he was quite familiar with you because John Jones brought him into his camp for your title fight because,
oh, that's cool.
Quote, he said John was very concerned about your jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, what do you just make of that, kind of the connection here? Does that
Oh, that's
have
great. I
any
didn't know
impact
that.
on the fight?
That's crazy. That's kind of cool. Yeah, he's got an incredible jiu-jitsu game. We've rolled a couple rounds together. He's a tough dude. He's a good dude. He's very, very good at jiu-jitsu. So I have a little bit of familiarity with him. I've obviously worked the desk, you know, several times with him on the card. And honestly, I mean, you guys can go back and look at some of those shows. Like, I really raved about his game and his jiu-jitsu, and honestly how frustrating it was at times to see him go into these fights and not do a whole lot of jiu-jitsu. So that's a really cool that's a fun fact. I didn't know that.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, we know the title fight is the main event on this card. You're not looking past this, but if you win, do you use that mic time, you know, especially for something looking towards that main event?
Yeah, I mean, probably, but you know, I said that in the last fight too, but I think I need to delegate maybe to you know, Lloyd or Scotty or Mark, like, to remind me, because I am living in the moment right now. Like, I'm doing a really good job of just staying in the moment and being where my feet are. So, like, I fought in Brazil, and, like, I didn't even, Alex Pereira's, like, making fun of me in the crowd, and, like, I didn't even realize it, like, because I'm just, like, I'm living, like, where I am, and I was just ready to go hit the beach. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Got to get through Roma Delize first, though.
Anthony, over here.
Yes, sir.
Just a few minutes ago, you said, like, fellow fighters were, like, kind of calling you a gatekeeper and talking about your pay. Do people actually bring up, like, your pay, like you said? Like, why is Anthony getting...
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like, fellow fighters
Yeah,
do
we
that?
hear that shit in the back all the time.
Like, fellow fighters saying
Oh, yeah.
that?
Oh, yeah. It's weird, right? Yeah, it's very weird. Like, what if you guys were out there arguing about who makes more money? That'd be fucking weird, right? Yeah.
Your coach on, I think it was on Embedded or Countdown, whatever, said, like, taking this fight on short notice, you kind of immediately get into prep day. You don't really have time to, like, focus on, like, this obviously a long camp. So do you, I know you said you don't normally want to take all these short notice ones now, but Roman was in here and he said that he likes this because he doesn't have to do all the media. He doesn't have to do all the interviews. He doesn't have to do all the prep, both mentally like that. Is this best case scenario for you two, just get right into the fight?
No, none of that stuff really changes for me, whether it's short notice or I have more notice. It's all kind of the same for me. Like, my media schedule is about the same as it typically is. And I don't really do that many interviews anymore. I do a couple here and there, but so that doesn't really change. That would make sense, like, for him, though. I can get that. He's not like a media darling, and I don't mean that in, like, a negative way. You just don't see a lot of him in the media, so him being able to come into a big card like this and a big opportunity and, a lot of eyes on our fight without having to worry about the bullshit, I get that.
And then unrelated to this fight, but I feel like I should ask you this. Cub Swanson was in here earlier, and he was saying that he's just noticing fans don't really do their research on the original fighters that kind of paved the way, and he kind of brought up all the WEC guys and everything. I'm curious, do you see that too, like all of these fans that, like specifically we talked about how people view Jose Aldo as the guy that lost to Conor, and they don't really bring up the WEC Jose Aldo. They don't know that. So do you get, like, what do you say to those fans that, they don't know that you fought in Strikeforce? They don't remember you as a middleweight and everything.
Yeah, just in general, I think as our fan base is getting younger, they just weren't around for those days. And I mean, to be honest, I think a lot of younger fans probably don't go back and watch the 91 Bears, or like they just don't go back and do their research. But I would urge them, like, to go back and get on UFC Fight Pass and go watch, like, the WC days and the Pride fights and Strikeforce. There's a lot of good fights in there. I just think it would be fun to go back and see all that stuff. And I get it from Cub, because like I've seen Cub kind of recently getting some dust ups online, kind of along those lines of just not being respected. And my generation of fighter put Cub's generation on a pedestal. If Cub Swanson and the people that came with him never were around, that people like me wouldn't be here. And that just keeps on rolling, Like, if I'm not here, then the people that came after me wouldn't be here either. So I get Cubs' frustration with that, though, because I do feel it myself.
Anthony Sayre, just going off that real quick, Shogun going in the Hall of Fame this week.
Wild.
Of course, you're an opponent of him. Just, I guess, reflect on what you feel he meant to the sport, what it meant to you to get the chance to fight him while he was still fairly on top of the game.
Yeah, Shogun, I mean, legend isn't even a good enough word for, or like it's not a good enough word to describe Shogun. In terms of, my history with Shogun, I wish there was a way that I could repay him for what he did for me. He gave me an opportunity when he didn't have to. They were talking about him going into a title fight following, a win. That's all he needed was a win. He took a big risk, and I think that says a lot about his character and just who he is. And that opportunity skyrocketed me. It was my first main event. It was on short notice. And a lot of really good things happened for me and my family, and my earning ability and where I am as a fighter today started with Shogun and that chance that he gave me. So I've seen him a couple times since then, and to be honest with you guys, I've always been too nervous to go up and talk to him. I still feel like that about Shogun. Like, I still get starstruck. So Shogun Hua means a lot to me.
Anthony, over here.
Mm-hmm.
I know probably because of the short notice you didn't get to train out in Colorado at Factory X. Will Mark Montoya be in your corner?
I was in Denver.
Oh, you were? Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, I was there. Yeah, and he'll be here.
Okay,
for
that's
sure.
great. And something I know you've done in the past, usually like, you know, going out in the RV with the kids and stuff during the summer. I'm guessing that's kind of on hold right now as you see what happens with this fight.
Yeah, you guys dragged me from the pool. I was spending a lot of time by the pool. But yeah, I mean, this is like best case scenario for me. I was training. Jamal was in Omaha, which made it really easy for me. You know, I was in shape. I was doing my thing, like kind of free and open because I didn't have like a target. I was just training hard. And then this pops up, and so I just gotta like pull myself out of the pool for a couple weeks, and then come here, fight, and you guys catch me at the pool on Sunday. So this is like best case.
You two were supposed to fight. Now you've kind of developed a bit of a friendship. He came out and trained with you. Can you just expand a bit on that and how you guys went from, you know, possible opponents to now being, you know, training together?
Yeah. So when Jamal first came into the UFC, I worked that card and gave him some advice. You know, he's really green in the sport, and but I seen his potential, and you know, like if I have something to say, Jamal gives me the respect to at least hear me out. So that's kind of how it started. Then we got matched up, and neither one of us really liked it that much, but it was kind of, this is our job, it's what we have to do. And then we weren't, you know, then he goes and fights Glover, and then I go to Grand Rapids and help him get ready for that fight, and then he wins the title. And so it's weird, our career paths are kind of weird. You know, it was supposed to be me versus Jamal, then it was, after that it was me versus Khalil, and it was supposed to be Jamal versus Khalil, and then it's Jamal versus Olberg, then me versus Olberg. The whole thing's really, really weird. Yeah, it's the whole thing's weird, and it just, you know, it is what it is. I'm sure at some point we're gonna have to sit down and have that tough conversation when both of us get a call that we don't want. But again, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Joe, I know you said you tried to stay quiet during the lead up to this fight, not do a lot of talking, but obviously all the interviews and all the cameras are getting in front of your face because it's fight week. Is it harder to bite your tongue at this point, or is it still easy to stay quiet at this moment?
Nah, I think it's always hard to bite my tongue. I don't like holding what I have to say and how I feel, you know what I mean? But I can't really say I'm feeling. If you poke the right subject, I'll probably open up. But yeah, I mean, I'm just ready to get through this media, finish my cut, look this dude in the face, and punch him in the fucking mouth. So.
I know you said in the build-up to this one, sleep and diet were kind of the biggest changes that you made in Justice. Why were those the things you identified that needed to be fixed?
Yeah, I mean, to be just 100% honest, I did not have enough carbs in my diet, so I was always in a deficit, and I was pushing 22 to 2,400 calories a day in camp with training. Like that's what I'm sweating, and you know, not including like what I'm sleeping off. So I was probably in the 100 to 150, and I would eat that after training. So it was just lack of knowledge of understanding what to eat, when to eat, not having a nutritionist. And then so I really got to work with the UFC's people, with Glenn. And yeah, they've really narrowed down a good diet plan for me. I've always eaten clean. That's never been the problem. But they really narrowed down my my diet for me and what to eat, when to eat, and have a good schedule for me. And then obviously my sleep. Bro, I'm a high anxiety guy when it comes. Maybe it's not anxiety, but I'm always looking to do something. You know what I mean? So I'm a busybody.
Have you felt the difference? I mean, is one camp enough to feel the difference that those adjustments that you made make?
Oh, for sure. Mentally, like me even being present right now, like wanting to be here, and you know, obviously, I think it played a huge part. I think I warped my mind a little bit, like burnt myself out. So yeah, but now, you know, I'm good. I feel good now, and I want to be here, and I'm excited, and I've always wanted to be here. But it makes it a little bit easier each time. So I definitely felt a difference, and definitely felt like I could get through the practices much better than previous. And the best way to explain it is like I would show up some days and just be in survival mode, like let's get through this practice, because I was so depleted, versus like let's dig this practice and try to push and really blow our lungs out.
Nice. Last thing for me, you know, we always just talk about the target that you had placed on your back from the very beginning, right? So you get this win on Saturday, you start the win streak again. Are you hoping that that same attention, that same energy is around you, or are you hoping to do things a little bit different in this run?
Johnny boy, all I got to do is knock this motherfucker out, whoop his ass, dominate, do what I do best, and I'm going to be right back where I am. I'm 27 years old. All these turds talking shit on social media, all these shitty fans, it's all good. They're not real fans. They don't know their homework, bro. I'm 27 years old. I got 15 pro fights. I'll go out there. I'll do my thing. I'm not going to change who I am. I'm still going to talk shit. I'm still going to be a jerk off. And, yeah, that's how it is. So you don't like me, don't fucking ask me a question. You know what I mean? Like, don't follow me. That's the weirdest fucking, it's like the weirdest click ever dealing with the downside of a loss. Like, you know, I put my body on the line, my health and all these things. I go out, I fight a guy. Everybody's acting like I got knocked out or I got choked out or something. It's like, bro, I lost a decision and I lost by 1 round. And in the 3rd round, got hit in the eyeball, couldn't see the guy for the rest of the fight. You know what I mean? So it's just people's like delusion. It's like I lost by that much. And the dude's got 17 UFC fights. That was my 5th one. And I'm out there performing at that on my 5th fight. So yeah, no, I'll be right back where I belong. Trust me.
Joe, over here. Kind of to go off of that, making the changes you did in camp, even before that, you were finding a lot of success in the UFC, but now that, you know, you've changed the diet and the sleep and everything, and you're no longer depleted, how good do you think we'll see you perform now that you have all of this?
I don't know. That's why I'm fighting. You know, I want to find out how far I can take this, right? So I have the speculation that I fix things just based on how I feel, but we don't really know, bro, until, you know, the fight's going and we're exchanging, and we'll see how I feel. I think people are being a little bit dramatic with how bad my cardio is. Look, I made it through 2 sessions of 5-5-minute rounds my last camp for Jack, and it's not why I lost. The man had a better game plan. He stuck to it, right? But I was sick from December 22nd till January 21st with one of the worst. I had no idea what I had. I was coughing up phlegm, coughing up blood. Brendan Allen came up to help me and everything, and I was dead sick. I was dead sick even on the Joe Rogan podcast on January 17th, and then I still fought, February 10th? So, bro, I had like 2.5 weeks where I wasn't dead sick. My coaches wanted to pull me and everything, and it didn't bother me. I still was like, man, I think I can beat this guy. Like, I believe it. I can knock him out. I can do this. I can do that. And we took the chance. So even in the loss, I'm still getting attention and I'm still learning. You know what I mean? So ain't nothing changed over here, bro. The only thing that changed was the social media world, but nothing's changed in my heart. Nothing's changed in my mind.
Is the social media part what you were referring to, that you have to bite your tongue about?
Yeah, 100%, bro. We live in a woke fucking world, a bunch of little weak bitches. So I just, I don't have much respect for a lot of people that have to bite their tongue because it's the social norm. Social norms doesn't make it right. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shit that I don't fuck with.
Looking at this fight specifically, you know, Marc-Andre is pretty well known to being a very durable guy. Like, usually when you get in there, it's three hard rounds, 5 rounds. you're obviously famous. You got
He's fought 5 rounds?
not 5 rounds. I was going to say, like, you fought 5 rounds. He's done a lot of 3 hard round fights. You obviously kind of blew up on the internet when you broke Francis's punch record. So when you have a guy like yourself who hits harder than almost anyone in this division against a very durable guy like Marc-Andre, what kind of fight are you expecting?
I think his durability is blown up. I think he's got a lot of heart. I think he is durable, yes, but I don't think that I don't think it's like a staple that you guys should be putting on. I'm not saying you guys, but like just people in general, like the narrative, he's a durable guy. Listen, are you talking about his skills? Are you talking about his punching power? Like, cool, he fights boring fucking decisions. Chris Curtis' fight was terrible. And it wasn't Chris Curtis's fault. Like, Chris was doing his thing. It's just, I feel like styles make matches, right? I think he's a good dude. I think he's a tough guy. I've heard that he's a nice guy. He's a good guy. But we're going to fight. And, yeah, I don't care how fucking durable you think your chin is, bud. When I crack you, if I get a clean one, I will hurt you. Look at Jack. I didn't hurt him, but he still said I was one of the hardest people to hit him. So it's just, I need to get a clean one, man. I was doing good that fight, throwing combinations, and then, Mark's a totally different fighter. He's a veteran. I think he's been in this, the game for a while, and I got respect for him. You know what I mean? I'm not his friend, but I got respect for him, and I think he's tough. So that's all I can say. I don't think he is got a set of skills that I'm going to be like, oh my God, I can't deal with this. He's going to try and push forward. He's going to try to make it ugly. He's going to want to clinch. He's going to want to throw uppercuts. He's going to want to throw shitty knees and some elbows. And he's going to be tough. He could beat me that way, right? He could if I let him dictate that. But he's also a guy that's willing to exchange with me, and I'm going to catch him inside there. That's what I do. I do great when people get aggressive. So if you look at how Jack fought me, he hit, ran. So, and then he took me down.
And final one for me. Can I just get your thoughts on the main event between Alex and Jiri?
Bunch of fucking voodoo shit going on. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm bummed out. I wish it was Conor. I like Jiri. I like Alex. I think Alex is just becoming, huge in the sport. It's his presence. It's the way he carries himself. He's not so socially open. You know what I mean? We'll walk by each other. I think me and Alex have walked by each other like 10 times. We've never said hello. I say hello to his coach, but we don't say hello to each other. There's just like, you know what I mean? That's a good way to carry yourself. I like that. So, yeah, it's going to be a good main event. I picked Jiri to win the last one. I thought he was winning it, and then obviously he got finished. So Alex has got that kind of power too. And Alex broke the record that I beat, by the way. But I want to hit it again. Hopefully with Alex there one day, because when I hit it, I had a torn shoulder and I shouldn't have hit it. So, and I also had a big glove. Give me a little glove.
Joe, just right here. Just curious who you think has the nicer white bucket hat between you and our friend here in the front row.
Well, since this is my sponsor, I'm gonna have to go with me. What brand is that? Yeah, I'm gonna go with me. Hey, I look better with it. You know what I'm saying?
Just a quick one over here. Yeah, just here.
Hello.
Just because it's your weight class, what's your opinion on the title fight coming up between Israel Adesanya and Dricus du Plessis? How do you think that goes down?
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a rivalry, right? Like after all the bad things said between each other, it's actually not that bad, but it's that's the narrative that's going to be built. Yeah, I don't know. I hope Izzy gets it done. I've been watching Izzy for a long time. Dricus I haven't watched as much, but he's tough. Two guys that don't like each other is always a good fight. And I don't think Izzy's going to change much, right? He's gonna stick to what he's good at doing, and that's picking people apart. So I don't really know who's going to win that. You also have to throw in the wild card of like Dricus. He can wrestle and make it ugly and make it like a crazy panic. So that's tough, man. I don't know. I would have to go with the veteran since I got my ass whipped by one. I'll have to go with Izzy.
Thank you.
Joe, over here. You mentioned Brendan Allen and training with him your last camp. Obviously, he's a teammate of Marc-Andre Barriault. I'm guessing you two didn't train for this camp?
Nah, we didn't train this camp. And yeah, I know that they trained at the same gym. I don't really know how much they worked with each other. I don't give a shit. Brendan could tell him everything he wants. It's still not going to change the result. And I don't think that they're boys like that. I think they're cool. And they do a good job, man. Like they're not intervening. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't even think it's a factor. Brendan helps me. I'm cool with him. I'm cool with Tuco. Yeah, Mark doesn't really speak good fucking English, so Well, he's not. I don't even know if he's going to
I'll
understand
push back
half
on
of
that
it.
a little bit. He has an accent, but he speaks perfectly fine English, I think.
Does he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
I can't understand him.
Okay. Well, anyways, I'm Canadian, so understandable.
Well, USA, baby.
Yeah,
Hate to let
I
you down,
understand,
brother.
I understand. And just sort of on that line of questioning as well, what does it say about your gym? A lot of fighters come to your gym and train with you guys, and I know there's like a standard and there's a work ethic. How cool is that for you, just as someone who's been there for a long time, and to see a lot of fighters come through and want to help you guys out?
Yeah, man. Everybody that's in the UFC, besides me and Jiri Prochazka, we came like 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago now, to Team Marquez and Webb. And, Sean's homegrown from the UFC. Jeremiah Wells is homegrown. Pat Sabatini's homegrown. So it's cool. We got 5 of us. And then we got Nursultan, who joined too. So we're all building a team, and that's what we want, right? We want that camaraderie. Like, you got all these big name gyms, and there's not a lot of one-on-one attention in those gyms, but we get a lot of one-on-one looks. We got a lot of good coaches that give us individual time, and I'm proud to be a part of it, man. These guys are selfless. Like, they lose money coming out here most of the time because we're not champions making crazy money yet, but time. It's cool to be a part of it and have people that actually love you and care about you as coaches. So can't ask for a better team, brother.
Gotta show you my outfit real quick. Trying to be a ninja. Oh.
We don't normally get a fashion show to start media day.
That was a little extra, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, so you've been fighting at a high level for a long time, right? So to be here, International Fight Week, UFC 303, Las Vegas, I mean, is it still like a special feeling, or is it just like the next assignment for you?
It is very special. Every fight is very special. And it's crazy.
it's just, I don't know. I just feel it might be that I'm getting older and just appreciating things a lot more, trying to slow things down. Sometimes you get wrapped up in all of this, and the nerves can take over. You don't pay attention to what's really important. And I think that I've just been having an amazing time just slowing things down and taking it all in and really just appreciating this blessed life that I get to live.
Is that specific to like this camp and this time period, or is it something that you've been able to do over time lately?
You know, I think it stemmed a lot from my last fight. I was heartbroken. I felt like I got opportunity taken away from me. Any fighter that gets stopped and it's not their choice, it's going to be heartbreaking, right? But I remember crying, being mad, being upset, being in the ambulance, and then getting shipped to the ER and hanging out back there and kind of being a little sore loser. And then realizing I'm in the ER, I just got paid, I got a cut and a broken nose, and there are other people that are getting shuffled back and with gunshot wounds, having heart attacks, with their family on the other side of the door, fearful that they're never going to be able to see their family member again. And then I just realized like how blessed I was to be able to do what I do. And at that point, I had a huge smile on my face. You know, I'm just chopping it up with Bryce Mitchell, and he made me laugh because he goes, "You know why they stopped your fight, right?" I was like, "Why?" He's like, "'Cause you ain't ugly." He's like, "My ass is ugly. They let me keep going." And he just, you know, he put a smile on my face. And the truth is, 18 plus years, I know in my heart I'm a warrior. I know I'm a fighter. That's all that matters. I come out here, I train my butt off. I have the ability to train with my husband. I have the ability to, you know, do a lot of cool things with my daughter. We've been able to travel the world, see so many amazing things, and I wouldn't be able to do it if I wasn't doing what I'm doing right now. So just taking it all in, really. That's awesome. Well said. Well, you've obviously fought the best in the world. Gillian, where do you think she stacks up against them? How do you view her skill set? I think Gillian's up and coming. I think, you know, she hit her stride moving to a different gym. I think that she realized that 25 wasn't the right division for her. She moved down. I don't think she's necessarily even a big 15er. I've fought big 15ers that should probably have been fighting at 25. I fought the best of the best in the strawweight division, excluding Wei Li, you know. So I just think this is another opportunity for me to fight somebody who's up and coming, who's chopping at the bits, who's hungry, and has a great skill set. Yeah. Is it as simple as you need to keep it on the feet and she needs to get you to the ground? I mean, it sounds that simple on paper, right? That's where she's good at. We all know that. I don't think her stand-up is that dynamic. She uses her stand-up to get her opponents to the ground, and then that's where she really shines the most. But I have great groundwork. I want to say probably these last four opponents that I've had, I've been trying to take to the ground, and with no success, or with the success that I did have, it was short-lived. You know, and so who knows if it goes to the ground. I'm excited to go to the ground. I have lots of really cool stuff that I've been working on these past 5, 6, 18 years that I'd like to showcase. I am a mixed martial artist, a well-rounded mixed martial artist at that. Last thing for me, how important is the result here, right? I mean, you've made your name in the sport. So, I mean, do you feel like this is some kind of like, I got to win, or is it more about the performance and knowing that you're doing the right things as a martial artist? Yeah. Wins are good. Wins, you know, fill your heart. It's nice. It's nice to win, not just for yourself, for your family, for everybody that puts in time at the gym, for your coaches. So I'd love to win. I've been putting in a lot of work at the gym to just go in there and perform the way I train. And when I do that, I will win. With that being said, though, my MMA record is a blimp, is you know, is a piece of dust compared to everything else that I've been able to accomplish in my martial arts career, let alone my life.
Michelle, over here. We have a lot of veterans on this card, you know, like Anthony Smith, Cub Swanson, yourself. And Cub was in here earlier, and he was saying like he felt like his generation doesn't get like maybe enough credit with this new wave of fans that maybe kind of came in with the Conor McGregor crowd.
Yeah.
And he was like telling them like, hey, do your research, like go watch the WC and this. I'm like, do you feel that too? Like maybe your generation, like even the beginning of the Invicta days, just doesn't get enough credit for where we are in the MMA world.
You know, that's just the name of the game with fans that aren't the diehard fans. So I guess that just kind of falls on the fans. Maybe they're just not diehard fans as they used to be. But the truth is like I think it's really cool to be considered a veteran and still be competing at this high level. I always tell people. MMA is kind of like a dog-eat-dog world, and you either buckle up and evolve with the sport, or you get left behind in the dust. And so, again, I'm blessed to continue to be able to fight on these huge cards. I'm blessed that I still have a name that people want to come and see and watch. But yeah, it's funny. I mean, I think just in general, when people look at stats to make their decision on who they think is going to win, or you can't look at stats when it comes to MMA. You know, every time a fighter steps into the octagon, they're a different fighter. They're fighting on a different day, and they're fighting a different opponent. So even if two fighters step in the octagon 3 different times facing each other, it's going to be a different fight. It should be, because we're always growing and evolving.
And looking at it on the other side, just as a competitor, like 20 years ago, there weren't nearly as many just MMA gyms. There was jiu-jitsu gyms and Muay Thai gyms, and you kind of had to bounce around.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of synonymous as like you've stayed at one place
Yeah.
like, your whole career. We don't really see that now. You see a lot of fighters will go to Florida for a camp, and then they'll go to California for a camp. They'll fly overseas and everything. So I guess, do you miss that aspect of MMA where like you're at one gym, you see the same guys every day, and you kind of all grow together rather than bouncing around?
I think it's really cool to be able to have that camaraderie and that deep bond. You know, it is so cool, and it's something that you'll always be able to keep and cherish. My last fight, you know, Rashad's like my big brother. When I first moved out to Albuquerque, and I had a hard time getting to the gym because I wasn't making that good of money, and I was scared, and I was nervous, and I was surrounded by amazing fighters like Rashad Evans and Donald Cerrone, George St. Pierre, the list goes on, right? He would come and check in on me and bring me cold medicine. He'd call me and ask me how I was doing. And so it was kind of just like a breath of fresh air when he was there at my last fight. He didn't have to say nothing. He was just there to give me a hug, and that's what I needed. But I guess with people jumping camps and this and that, to each its own. Some people feel like when they're having a rough spot in their career that they have to go somewhere else, and maybe that's the answer. But for me, anytime I have a rough spell, I always feel like I have to do introspective work and see what it is that I'm missing, what puzzle piece did I forget to bring, or what tool did I forget to sharpen in order to get better. To me, I take that responsibility, and that falls on my shoulders, not my coach, not my camp.
Michelle, right here, kind of going off that a little bit. There's 3 Hall of Famers on this card, but they're Jackson Wink Hall of Famers and yourself, Cub, and Andrei Arlovsky. I guess it sounds like you might be sharing the locker room together on fight night too. What does that mean to you to kind of reunite? I know they've left and it's been years, but to kind of rekindle some of that magic of those years.
It's good energy. That's good energy. I don't know the words, but that's what camp has been all about. This camp is just, you know, bringing that good energy, and martial arts is a language in itself, and sometimes words don't need to be spoken in order to understand each other. So having Arlovsky and Cub in my locker room is amazing.
And I'm also curious, we're going to talk to Paige Van Zandt in a couple minutes after you leave the stage. What do you make of your former opponent doing a slap fight on Friday?
I've always told people, Paige, you know, in order to be a fighter, you have to have a couple screws loose. And it's just one of those things. Like, it's not natural to want to stand in front of another person and take each other's heads off. And Paige, you know, she just got big balls. So she's just loving life, and she's doing her thing. You know, she's young, married, and just living life to its fullest. And, you know, I commend her for it.
How much money would you have to get paid to do power spots?
I don't think my husband would let me do that.
Michelle right here.
That or bare knuckle, I don't think is not an option.
Michelle right here, right down the middle.
Okay, I
Hi.
see you.
Michelle, I think one of the things that was really cool about your career is as the women's divisions were taking off, you really just figured out the branding with everything, and you got a lot of opportunities. The Fight Mom documentary, I remember from your time doing Invicta to UFC and everything else. And it feels like there's a lot more opportunities for women now to make money, whether it be through social media and the sites and everything. What do you think has changed about the fan base and maybe about the business that has allowed more women to have these opportunities and to make that money the way Paige and others are?
I think the biggest thing that has changed is social media. It's in our hands. So basically, it's up to us if we want to create our own brand or not. And that's what I tell a lot of my teammates that are up and comers. What separates you from everybody else that's trying to get into the UFC? There's a million other guys just like you. What separates you? Yes, you're an amazing fighter. Yes, you can knock people out, but the UFC wants more than that. They want to see, because fighting, as much as we want to say is just about that, it's not. Like, it is a business, it's entertainment. We have to be able to, on our own, tell our own story. And that's the beauty of social media, is that we have the ability to tell our story the way we want. So to take advantage of that, tell your story the way you want. You have your own platform, you have your own channel to do so. And when you tell your own story and you showcase your own personality, the right brands will fall in your lap. So I think that's probably the biggest thing.
Do you have advice for those teammates or those friends who are like, you know they're funny or they're this or they're that, that would be very relatable to the fan base, but they don't know how to present that on social media? What kind of advice do you give them to find that connection to present it?
I just tell them, be you. Don't try to be somebody you're not, but be you and lean into that. If you're the quiet, silent, mysterious type, lean into that. If you're loud and crazy, lean into that. For me, you know, I wish I wish I had the craziness and the banter that Conor McGregor has. I don't. It's not me. It's not who I am. You know, but I am kind of quirky and funny. I'm a mom. I'm a businesswoman. I'm a wife. And those are the things that I lean into.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Love you.